Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, Freaky Boy John Dog says hello. Dave the Master 2020 says yo everyone. Yo everyone, I think is what he's trying to say. Yo everyone. Okay, so today we're going to be doing some reads, and I figured that I should open up the blank frame so I can then move this over into this frame here. Instantly, right out of the gate, David the Master 2020 says, how many George Clooney movies have you seen? What's your favourite one? Didn't we answer this question last time? How many George Clooney movies have you seen? I can't remember. My favourite one is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. There you go. And that's a real answer, by the way. That's not a joke answer. So let's try and get this done. Oh, we answered Jim Carrey movies. That was it. That was it. Now, I'm going to see if I can open up a different frame from episode 1, because we're dealing with a location from episode 1 that I might be able to replicate. Just going to see if I can find it. Freaky Boy John Dog says, seen the teaser for Camp Cretaceous Season 2. The reveal of a certain dinosaur was such a pleasant surprise. Are you talking about the Ceratosaurus? Was that the pleasant surprise? Do you know what? I don't know if I have this. Is it this one? Ooh, same layer. Yes, so nice to see you again. Yeah, I guess I'm more excited to see where they take season. Oh god, that's an old frame. Where they're gonna take season 2 over season 1. However, I have some issues with Camp Cretaceous. Yozul says, I missed the intro. I'm editing the intro, Zul. The thing you sent me, I was actually editing just before I came on because I hadn't got around to doing it yet because of a certain little baby that is taking up a lot of my time. But next live stream, I should hopefully have a new intro to these streams. Hello, Mr. Greg's Bugs. Glad to be back. How are you? I'm good. But yeah, the something about Camp Cretaceous. What are the odds? Here's my prediction, right? Here's my prediction. No, that's not the frame either. Do you know what? I'm just gonna have to do this one new. So we'll do the usual shebang. And I spoke about this in a couple of chat groups that I have going on. My prediction for Camp Cretaceous Season 2, which is something that kind of annoys me, if I'm honest, is I think they're going to completely ignore the hotels on the island. And like they're going to have these kids running around the remnants of Jurassic World, scared out of their wits, by all the dinosaurs on the island and whatnot. And then they're never going to address the Hilton Hotel that's on the island, and they're not going to have the kids go there. Which, if I was staying on the island, logically, I would just go hold up in those hotels, in those nice comfy beds. I would, I guess the power's off, but I would do my best to try and get the power back on. But either way, there's going to be food in the fridges there. There's going to be loads of stuff at that Hilton Hotel. And it'd be a good base of operations. It's also on the opposite side of the lagoon to everything else. But if I was writing the show, and this is what I said in one of the chat groups, if I was writing the show, I would have episode 1 of season 2 be the kids go and commandeer the hotel, and one of the characters, let's say Kenji, is like, hey guys, look, my dad worked on this island, we've got the Hilton hotels, here. I've stayed in them before. I know sort of some of the ins and outs of the hotels, but we should look on the upside. We can try and call for help from this place, but while we wait for help, we can hold up in this hotel and have fun. So we have like a mini montage of them barricading the doors, and they're like, you know, trapping themselves in these hotels. And then they have basically a Home Alone. There's like a little montage of like them having sort of a Home Alone type fun. You know, like they're jumping on the beds and they're eating all this crap food. They're going to like this indoor cinema in there and watching some stuff, and they're having a genuinely good time. And then you can have something where Blue gets into the hotel and you have this really creepy moment where, or any dinosaur, doesn't have to be Blue. I probably said that because of the raptors in the kitchen from the first film, but like something where a predatory dinosaur gets in. Heck, even compies like rats, you know how like they think they've got the whole thing secure from dinosaurs, but the one thing they forget are the compies that slip in. And this is in episode 1, by the way. So like they then have to fend off these compies, and something happens that leads to one of the kids creating a fire by accident, and that starts to create a fire inside the hotel, basically forcing them out of the hotel. And you could have like the sprinkler system come on or something and put it out, but basically the hotel is a state by the end of it and they can't stay in there anymore. That's what I would do to address the fact that they've got these luxury hotels on the island. But I just have this sneaking suspicion that this animated show that's meant to be canon, you know, as everyone's saying, oh, this show's hard canon or whatever, they're just going to completely ignore those hotels entirely in season 2. And why that also annoys me is because like in the mosasaur sequence in season 1, you can see that they didn't animate Main Street whatsoever. So like the mosasaur lagoon is there, and there's this shot where Main Street and all the buildings should be, and there's absolutely nothing there because they didn't want to have the whole trouble of answering why the kids aren't running over to get help once they've, you know, escaped from the mosasaur, and they're all sitting on the side like catching their breath. Like, because technically they should just be instantly making a move for Main Street, because at that point in time there were people there, so they would go over there and get help. But the animators didn't want to do that, so they, you know, just conveniently left Main Street out. That's my speculation for why they did that. But the one things they do add into that scene are the hotels. Like, you can see the hotels there. So they have the hotels in season 1, and then we see Main Street in the teaser for season 2. So I have a sneaking prediction that they're going to do a switcheroo. So season 1, yeah, Zul, okay, I can get you in. I think season 1 is going to have no Main Street for convenience, but they show the hotels. And then season 2, they're not going to show the hotels, but they'll show Main Street. Because if they show the hotels in season 2, I'm going to be like, why are they not going there? Let's see. Okay, Zul, I'm in the chat on the Jurassic groups. There you are. Let me see if I can turn the music off. Let me turn you up. No one's going to be able to hear you. Okay, try now. Hello?
Yo.
Yo. How we doing?
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard about your discussion about the missing missing Main Street on Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, and yeah, I mean, I believe that we are gonna get some sort of sequence where the kids go to find shelter, maybe.
Yeah. That I don't doubt. I think they'll probably go back to their camp, because I think I was watching the Jurassic Park podcast breakdown, and Tom Jurassic mentions that in the trailer you can see that, or it appears that Darius has his necklace back. So they've either gone back to the camp to get his necklace, or someone got it, or whatever. But I just have this feeling that they're just going to ignore the hotels. Whereas, like, for me, it's if you're going to make something canon, and I can obviously talk about this openly because I've never worked on Camp Cretaceous. Like, I have no idea. No one's talked to me about it, but I have worked on the canon. And the one thing that I can say about it is, if you want something to be canon, like, you have to think of all the elements that you have at your disposal. And as soon as I saw Main Street was missing in season 1, I was like, come on, like, this is the sort of stuff you need to avoid. There's a million ways, and I don't know if you caught my explanation in season 1 about how I would have done that sequence had Main Street been there, but it could have been done with the same exact events taking place. And it's just really annoying. I hate that sort of stuff. That's why I hate the map moving in Fallen Kingdom, because it's just like, well, like, the map, if they just changed the map, I'd be fine with Fallen Kingdom. It doesn't bother me. But
I mean, the thing is, they have the design of the map in Jurassic World. So why did they just apply that onto the movies?
I think there was a mistake early on.
Maybe
because what the old what is it, the Amanda Silver, Rick Jaffa's script has the Main Street and the lagoon down exactly where it is in Fallen Kingdom in an early Jurassic Park 4 script. Yeah, so it's funny because when we were working on the DPG website, they sent us like assets to put on the website, and they sent us the maps, and we had both versions, and I was like, I've got one of the old maps. That's all I thought about. I was like, I've got one of the old maps from the Jurassic Park 4 era. And then when I saw it in the movie, I was like, oh my god, like, come on. I was like, you sent us both maps, like, you have and even on the set of the DPG, they have both versions of the map. On the set, they had both versions on the walls, and even then I was like, what's going on here? And then in the film itself, there's both versions of the map, and this is something I don't hear many people talk about, because they use that shot from Jurassic World in the BBC News of all the people waiting in the hotel. And there's this, you can see the map right in the middle, and it shows the lagoon like dead center in the middle of the island. So it's like both maps are in Fallen Kingdom.
I mean, the thing that I don't understand is that they have designed, the map in the first Jurassic World, right?
Yeah. So
why did they go all the trouble to create a second one when they have established?
See, this is where my speculation is the map from Fallen Kingdom was the original map, and then when they came to do Jurassic World, when it got further into production, they decided, no, we want to center it more because people would be asking about the Mosasaurus, like, so they wanted to center it more. And they did say to us during the early production of Fallen Kingdom, they were like, when we were on set and visiting all that sort of stuff, they were like, oh, the Mosasaur escapes through the canal system, leading from the center of the lagoon. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, that makes sense, because the canal system's actually been there since the original film. On the original maps, you can see that river system leading to the ocean, and from that area of the island. And so I was all on board with it, but I guess for convenience sake, someone went, oh, let's put the old map in there to make it answerable for why the Mosasaur got out so quickly. But I know, but my point, it really is that, I don't like that, and I don't like when they do it in Camp Cretaceous. Like, across the board, I don't like when they do that. Like, you should have fun with the elements that you've already got. That's my stance. And they should use the hotels, like I was just explaining my little scenario. They should use the hotels to their advantage, story-wise, and build on the characters,
Yeah, I mean, when they at least ended on the first season, weren't they at the docks or something?
Yeah, they were right on the docks, so presumably you'd take the monorail and it would go straight back to the motel. It would go straight to the hotels.
Logically, the first thing they would get onto the monorail and then ended up on the motel. So that's the closest shelter that they could have gotten, right?
It's also, I would argue, the best shelter that they could ask for. I mean, if I was writing the show, I would have a line, because Eric Kirby is a well-known name in the Jurassic world. Like, if you've ever read the Jurassic Park adventure books, I know they're not considered canon or anything, but they do go off on how, like, after Eric Kirby was rescued and stuff, he became a bit of a celebrity because he was a kid who survived on this dinosaur island for 8 weeks. And he, like, if you read the first book, JP Survivor, that's a book he's written, and in the opening of the book, he says like, "This is my I'm recounting my time on the island, recounting my time on the island," and that's because he's got famous from it, and so I would have a line in this show where one of the kids goes, imagine how happy Eric Kirby would have been had he had a Hilton hotel on Sauna for 8 weeks, like that sort of thing. Like,
he's just left in the freaking truck.
Yeah, it's like you need. I think like having the characters distraught that they're left on the island is a good thing, but you could have this false sense of security that they go, okay, we've got this whole island to ourselves. What are we gonna do? And the first thing I thought of, if putting myself in this scenario, was, well, we've got massive Hilton hotels there. They've got luxury beds, loads of kitchens. They've probably got games rooms, swimming pools. They've got all sorts of stuff that they could utilize, and it would make for a fun episode to have them like actually chilling out at this hotel and going, this is much better than our camp place that we were at, and all this sort of stuff. And then something goes wrong, and you'd have to burn the inside of the hotel, not necessarily outside, because the outsides don't necessarily look that burnt in Fallen Kingdom. So you'd have to do this sort of clever thing where they, the inside is ruined and they just can't use it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see children doing the same thing, barricade themselves inside some type of shelter, and then just do all the fun things that they couldn't have done, right?
Yeah.
But the only thing that I could think that would kind of endanger them is the pterosaurs. But remember that all the hotels have balconies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the pterosaurs could have landed on those balconies and then come straight into the hotel. And
that would be if they choose one of the luxury rooms with a balcony. They might, like, for safety, I'd be like, I'm picking a room in the middle of the building, like away from the windows at least.
Yeah, and it could also create a very suspenseful scene. I mean, imagine a pteranodon just landed on that balcony and then come straight into the room, and then just you're just walking around the hotel when the kids doesn't know that there's a pteranodon inside the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah, like pteranodons walking down the hallway. That'd be kind of freaky. That'd be kind of a freaky image. But this is the thing. Like I have fun with Camp Cretaceous. Like, I know I've probably been crapping on it a lot since it came out. Like,
you're not the only one, man.
Yeah, but like I do have fun with it, but I really do divorce it from canon, because there's so much stuff in it that I'm like, oh, okay, I can't personally, I can't get on board with it. And I know I'm not the target audience, but at the same time, like, for the demographics of the show, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but I am the target audience in terms of how canon this is. So, and when they start doing stuff that really deviates from that, or like goes away from it, I'm like, okay, you're not selling it to me anymore. It's like the whole raptor paddock in season 1, and how like it's only the camp counselors who go there to rescue. It's like, where's Owen? Where's Barry? Where's anyone else working for InGen who are around there? Like, why is it only the camp counselors who come and rescue them? And I don't know. It's just there's something about it that, like, I'm like, oh no, I'm not. You're not selling me entirely on it. Like, Masrani's helicopter doesn't look like his helicopter, and
yes.
And I understand that, like, that might be for like licensing reasons for like the vehicles. Like, they might not get the license for the vehicles, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, but you might have embellished his helicopter a little bit too much. There's ways of making it look like the same helicopter, but without actually breaking, I guess, licensing rules or whatever they need to do to get the rights to use a vehicle in a show. They did that with the Mercedes 6-wheel thing.
Yes.
So why not do it for other stuff? But
I mean, the Mercedes Spices looks really, really similar to the one that ACU used. But why did they get the freaking helicopter right?
I just need to also find out something. Camp Cretaceous season 2. Now I heard this. I'm gonna have to mute it because I don't want to get copyrighted. Yeah, the T-Rex doesn't have her scars as well. I mean, come on. That's like...
Wait, I need to check this out.
I just checked, yeah, because I heard this again in the Jurassic Park podcast breakdown of the trailer. Like, the T-Rex roars on Main Street, and the T-Rex looks awesome. Like, it looks really, really good. Like, I like the way they've made her look. It looks like the T-Rex, right? But they don't have the scars. So you're like, mm-hmm. And I know Main Street looks a lot different for the most part.
Yes, everything is white. What the fuck?
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me as much. I know, like, I just complained about Masrani's helicopter and stuff. The Main Street, I think, what bothers me about it is it looks too clean. Whereas what they should have done is, if they didn't want to make it exact, you rough it up. Just cover it in rubble and destruction, because we saw the dinosaurs fought down there. Like, just cover it in rubble, make it look a bit more destroyed, sorry, and then add the scars onto the T-Rex. There's little things like that where I'm like, okay, I can usually look over this sort of stuff canon-wise if the story utilizes what's available to it to tell its story. But there's too much in Camp Cretaceous where I'm like, you're overlooking so much that has been established. So it really, to me, it really starts to feel like Jurassic Park the game. Like, what Jurassic Park the game did with the original film and how it tried to insert itself into canon, it's exactly the same thing for me. There's so many little things wrong, but I can still have fun with it. So, like, I'll watch it because it's fun to see. Finally see like a Jurassic Park cartoon or whatever, or like a game like that's set during the time of the first film, but I can't accept it as hard canon because there's just too much wrong. There's too much going against it for me.
Yeah, I mean, just looking back at the teaser trailer for season 2, at least the Innovation Center looks great. It's so detailed, but everything is sparkly clean. What the hell?
Well, yeah, the Innovation Center at that point in time, I can't imagine being too roughed up at that point. But the thing is, they've made the Innovation Center, so where was that in season 1? Like, where was that in the Mosasaur shot? Like that? Oh god, that annoys me so much. It's like they just put a curtain in the way and we're like, don't look over there, guys. Like, don't look over there. There's nothing there, nothing to see. These kids are going to be sitting on their ass on this Mosasaur steps for the next thing. They're going to be talking about their emotions more than actually getting a move on because they need to get off the island.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. When you start to point out that the Main Street is not in this shot, I was thinking that they could have used a couple of arts or something that kind of has a perspective type of thing. You know, it doesn't have to be models. It just have to be arts. It's just placed into the shot. That kind of fills in the shot with by not emptying it with people's thinking where the Main Street was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't finish the Main Street when development started, and they just didn't have the time. Maybe.
Well, see, because it feels to me like they wanted to have that shot of the kids on the steps, and then you hear that alarm go off over the island, and then the credits roll, and that's all you've got. And I love that. I think that's really creepy. However, they needed to show Main Street. They need, like, if you're gonna make it canon, if you're gonna make it like run alongside the original with Jurassic World, right, with the original 4th movie, you're gonna run it alongside there plot wise. I don't know if you did hear my breakdown of what I would have done, but I would have had the kids come out, escape the Mosasaurus. They're sitting on the steps. They're like, oh my god, that was crazy. And then Kenji's like, look, we're so close to Main Street, and there's a shot of Main Street, and you've got a few people picking up tranquilized pteranodons, and they're cleaning up, and you can see a crowd of people being ushered away because they're going to go over to the hotels. And then Kenji's like, look, we need to get over there now, and they pick what's her face up, the sports girl who's like hurt her leg, and they're like, we're going to get over there now. And as they're running towards the exit, that's when Toro turns up, and they're like, oh god, he's in our way. And Kenji, knowing the park as Toro's coming towards him, he's like, I know what to do. and he clicks a button on the controls, and the seating arrangement on the mosasaur drops and goes down. So then you have a beautiful shot of the mosasaur under the water again, and then they go into the tunnels. They're like, we can go through the underground tunnels and pop up. When they're in the tunnels, that's when they see the compies, and they're like, oh god. And then Toro follows them into the tunnels, and then you have the whole Toro sequence, and that leads them, once they finish that Toro sequence, because you know how that ends, they blow him up, and then he walks off, and then they just, you know, find the hole in the wall, and then they get out. So you do that, but when they get out, they find the monorail, they get on the monorail, and then you have the whole sequence with Ben, you know, getting attacked by the pteranodons. So, and then once they all jump out of the monorail, instead of them going into the tunnels, because we've already done that already, you just like fade to them on the docks going, they've gone, they've left us, like all this sort of stuff like that. It's all the same elements, but it answers what Main Street was doing and why they didn't go there. Like, and you show Main Street.
I could see that ending of yours being a little bit of a kind of a scary cliffhanger. But Jack,
go on.
That's too short.
Oh no, well, it'd still be the same length. It would just be, instead of ending episode 7 on Ben being taken out of the window, and then see episode 8 starting with Ben hanging out of the window, you would end episode 7 on them going and going into the tunnels after the mosasaur bit, and then maybe when they're in the tunnels you hear the alarm, and that's when the you hear a voice over the tunnel. I said there's X amount of time for them to leave, and then that's when you end episode 7, and then episode 8, the end of the series, ends basically on the climax being Ben being taken, and then they're like, oh god, like what are we gonna do? I don't know. There's just something about that whole sequence for me where I was like, okay, they've lost me here. Because they've lost me because it's like they've introduced a new river ride, and they've also at the same time completely ignored Main Street, and I'm like, God, there's so much going on here that I need to they need to address for me to consider it hard canon, because at the moment for me it's just soft canon. It's just like a comic book. It's like a what if scenario.
Like it can be, but it cannot be interpreted as a main canon.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. It's like, I don't know. It's like it's very hard to to take it seriously when it doesn't utilize what is available to them. That's the main thing for me. I'm like, you've got all this stuff you could use on the island to tell the same story but make it more interesting, but they just don't do that. They're just like, just don't think about it. Just don't, like, we're not even gonna like have Main Street there and make it so you don't think about it. It's just not even gonna be there. We're just not even gonna have Main Street there. It's just disappeared. That's why I was making the joke of like making the jokes of Main Street's not there because it's now started its journey at that point in canon down to the bottom right hand corner of the map. Like the innovation center's like plodding its way down there, carrying the other buildings under its arms, like.
So a couple of dinosaurs kind of putting the Main Street onto their shoulders, and they just carry out to the seashore or something.
Yeah.
What the hell?
It made me laugh because I've been watching the original. I don't know if you've ever watched the original 1960s Thunderbirds. That's what I've been watching over the last like weeks with my daughter. Whenever she's like, I've got to like, you know, bop her to sleep or whatever in my arms, I've put an episode of Thunderbirds on. I don't know if you've ever watched this show, but it's like an old 60s marionette show. They're all like puppets. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Team America World Police, but it's
I've seen a couple of clips of them, but not full thing.
Right. The basic premise of Thunderbirds is there's these people who have these special stylized vehicles, and whenever there's like an accident happens, someone makes the call to international rescue, and they come out in these little vehicles and save the day, essentially, like rescue people's lives. But anyway, the point is, I was watching this episode where, bear in mind this was made in the 60s, but it's called Terror in New York City, And there's an episode where they've got this massive machine and they're moving the Empire State Building from point A to point B, so they're literally going to like drag the building on these rails over. And I was watching this going, that's good how they could have moved Main Street, you know. They needed one of these huge machines to like move.
Or maybe the Brachiosaurus.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find a picture of it and I'll put it up on stream.
No, shit.
Thunderbirds terror in New York City. Yeah, oh my god, here it is. So this show's all done with models and stuff, so there you go. If you watch the stream, you'll see it pop up. It's
it's kind of slow in mine. Hold on a sec.
You'll see it. It's like this giant building. I'm just going to look at chat quickly, just to see what people are saying.
Okay, I'm seeing it. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's really detailed.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. Look at those things. I mean, oh.
Titan of Serpent says, Jack, who are you talking with? I'm talking with Zul. Zul.
It is Zul.
He does Clayton's intros, the CGI dinosaurs that are awesome. Titan of Serpents also says they forgot about the Dimorphodons in Camp Cretaceous. I feel like everyone forgets about the poor
Yes. Also, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Again, yeah. So Fallen Kingdom, I can kind of give them a bit more leeway because it's years later, and it's like who knows where they are and what they're doing. But in Camp Cretaceous, they're meant to be there. Yeah.
Maybe they. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they received some negative comments about the Dimorphodon, and they just straight up remove them from the canon or something. I don't know. That's the only thing that I could think about why they remove the Dimorphodon from the official canon or something like that.
Yeah. This I don't know. It's not a show that has. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm way more interested in where season 2 is going over what they've done with season 1. Like season 1, I was excited about because I was like, oh, we're going to see the park from a different angle. We're going to probably see a lot of these shots and scenarios from different angles, which is kind of fanboyish. I'll admit. It's like, oh yeah, I want to see the T-Rex and Dominus fight again, but from like a different angle or something. Like or heck, just show the people in the hotel seeing it, or some sort of different thing that was established, which could have been established, that sort of thing. But then when I started watching the show, I was like, okay, I know what this is going to be. This is not going to address anything like that. It's going to be this weird thing that sort of it's its own kettle of fish.
I mean, that's the thing. That is the thing that kind of hyped me up about season 1, because when they start to say it, oh, we're gonna see a different perspective on the part, incidents from the movie, I just thought, oh, Indominus versus T-Rex, we're gonna see a different angle. But in the show, they did show. So,
yeah, or you can use it as like an opportunity to show like what happened with the gate where the Ankylosauruses were. Because there's this big, well, I say big, it's not big in the Jurassic, it's a niche debate. I used to have it long ago about what happened with that gate that Zach and Gray find. And I actually was listening back to my commentary for Jurassic World, because I was like, what did I used to say about this film 5 years ago? So I listened back to this thing the other day when I was at work. And I was like listening to myself, and it was like listening to an alien. I was like, I have not like I understand. I'm with you on some things, but there's some opinions that I say, and I'm like, I have got a completely different opinion on that now. But what I say about that Ankylosaurus thing is I say that there's that go-kart that Zach and Gray find destroyed with the guy's helmet on the floor, and that I said that I assume meant that he was the one who went through the gate. The Indominus followed him, and then after that happened, the Ankylosaurus wandered in through that opening of the gate, which is fair enough.
So the Ankylosaurus is originally from the Gyrosphere Valley.
Well, that's what I believed, but I found a map of the Gyrosphere Valley on the set of Jurassic World, and it doesn't show the Ankylosaurus. And I then changed my opinion, and I was like, hang on a second. I don't know if the Ankylosauruses were meant to be in that restricted area, because a lot of people still, I think, believe that gate that Zack and Gray find leads into the restricted zone that's like the whole north of the island, but it's not. That's just a restricted area which is quite a way south of the restricted zone at the top of the island, which contains like the visitor center and some parts of the old park. And for whatever reason, they're keeping the Ankylosaurus in there. And I believe the film hints at the fact that the Ankylosaurus are in there because if their club tails hit the gyrospheres, they crack them. So, because we see the Ankylosaurus do that to Zack and Gray's one. So I'm now under the impression that
it would be far dangerous for the visitors.
Yes, so I'm now under the impression that the Ankylosauruses were always in there. And
so yeah, I'm by myself talking to myself. That's chaos.
Are you right? What's happened? Hello?
The internet freaking out.
Ah, his internet is freaking out. Freaky Boy John Dog says it's kind of weird how the kids pretty much don't have closure on whether the Indominus is dead or not. They just never got to see it fight the Rex. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird. I wonder if they're going to address that in season 2. Are you there?
I just got cut out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I mean, my internet just got cut out for a while, and I just skipped the whole part of it.
Oh, where did you get up to? What I was saying?
Oh, fuck, I don't remember. It was up to the Ankylosaurus being rammed by the gyrosphere, and I just said, oh, yes, that's why the Ankylosaurus is not on the gyrosphere valve, because it will be too dangerous for the visitors right in the gyrosphere.
Yeah, and the thing about that also is that's my impression of the film. Now, I will admit, it is messy. Like, the film doesn't necessarily address... Because it's quite obvious the Indominus broke that fence open because you can see claw marks on it. Which, so the Indominus was in the gyrosphere valley just before Zack and Gray, were there. Which is why I believe Claire and Owen find the Apatosaurs all torn up. But at the same time, I don't know if that's the same area because that looks very hilly where they find the Apatosaurus. So it looks like a different area of the gyrosphere valley. It might even be like a completely different area in total, but that's besides the point. But we know the Indominus was in the gyrosphere valley just before Zack and Gray come across that fence. Now, what's also weird about that is, they appear at that fence and there's like a Stegosaurus sleeping under the tree and all that sort of stuff. So the Indominus broke in there a while ago. So the timing is pretty messy on that. But my point is that like Camp Cretaceous could have taken a moment to answer that, to have gone into that a little bit more. It might have still been messy in terms of timing of everything, but I bet they could have done something with that to at least address it. And that's the sort of thing I was kind of hoping for when it came to season 1. We're going back to when Jurassic World was open. You kind of see a little bit more of that sort of stuff, but no. And
yeah, I mean, that's kind of pieced together the events in Jurassic World and Camp Cretaceous. When what episode was it? Episode 3 or something, when the Indominus starts to show up.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. And wait, where was the Camp Cretaceous placed? I don't know.
It was in the north of the island. It was like towards nearer the volcano, sort of the northwest, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Oh no, actually no. No, it was the northeast of the island because they were right near the raptor paddock, and that's where it is.
Oh yeah. So let's try to piece together the events of the Indominus raiding in Camp Cretaceous with Jurassic World. This is gonna get a little bit messy.
Go on, do it. Do it. Come on, Zul.
Let's see. Northeast.
So the raptor paddock, so this is what I do like about Camp Cretaceous. Where the camp is actually set, northeast, is not too far from the raptor enclosure because they can see the lights from their balcony. And that means they're not too far from Owen's bungalow. And when you watch Jurassic World, what do you hear next to Owen's bungalow? You hear Brachiosauruses.
Brachiosaurus,
Exactly, and that's also what they hear in episode 1 when Darius is like, are we going to see dinosaurs, and there's like the impact tremors on the ground or whatever, and then they cut to the zip line. So they're quite close to the brachiosaurs, and I liked all that. That made sense. I was like, that is a good way of integrating into canon, some backstory for the locations of stuff and why we don't see the brachiosaurus in Jurassic World and some of the other dinosaurs like the Sinoceratops and all that.
Also, didn't they say that at the first time we saw the dinosaurs herding, and they said that the staff were herding the dinosaurs into their own personal paddocks or something? So
I think it was like their nighttime pens, like
yeah, maybe like that. So so they kind of establish a little bit more about the backstory of the island.
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. That sort of stuff I like. But then you just don't have Main Street when they're right next to the Mozart. I'm like, come on.
You're still gonna go through that, eh?
I know, it's so irritating. So, and then they don't, like, someone, who was it, Freaky Boy John Dog in the chat said, it's kind of weird how the kids pretty much don't have closure on whether the Indominus is dead. And that's the thing, it's like, that's something I hope they address in season 2, because if they don't, it's like, you're just ignoring the fact that the kids were traumatized by this thing, and also Darius the dino nerd doesn't know what the Indominus is, and he even says that several times. It's like, I'm sure they will.
Let's see how they could establish that the Indominus was dead. The Indominus got dragged into the lagoon, so how would they establish that? How would they know that the Indominus died? They try to freaking swim into the lagoon and find a skeleton.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's up to them.
So were you going to go through the events? Like, what were you going to... You said you were going to go through the events or something of Jurassic World, or did I hear that wrong?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to piece together the events on Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World with the kind of the timeline they had. So the first time that we hear the Indominus Rex roar in episode 4, it probably is a kind of indication that the Indominus Rex just broke out.
Yeah, so is the camp between the Indominus Rex paddock and the Raptor paddock? Is that what we're led to believe? Because that whole top half of the island is huge. Like, I don't know if I quite believe that, unless the Indominus has travelled from its break out of its enclosure to somewhere.
I mean, it's not near the restriction areas, so.
Yeah.
And when the Indominus got broke out, the kids start to go to the towers with the zip line.
Mm-hmm.
And we first saw the Indominus are there, killing the Brachiosaurus. So, by my calculations, maybe it started on the north. Wait, this thing doesn't have a compass. What the hell? So let's see. The Indominus probably broke out from its containment area, and then probably go to the northwest of the Gyrosphere Valleys to start killing the Apatosaurus, and then move on to the restricted paddock or something. So it went on the highway or something. When they start to go to the edge first, and then starts to go to the
it like zigzags, like,
yeah, kind of. So it doesn't have a straight on pattern. It's just go through where it's want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's it.
Yeah, it's a bit more convoluted, especially considering there's a shot in Jurassic World of them looking at the path the Indominus takes, and it goes nowhere near the top northeast side of the island. But then again, it's lost its tracking implant. So,
yeah. I mean, we don't know.
I mean, yeah, I guess that actually, no, tell a lie. That's when they have like people who have called in about incidences, because there's one on the Cretaceous cruise that's there in the film, which I guess Camp Cretaceous. I'm assuming that's what they're trying to answer. But then again, no one knew the kids were on the Camp Cretaceous ride. Only the kids did. So
maybe there's different people. I don't know. There's a lot of people on It's Nublar.
Yeah, it's called the River Adventure in Camp Cretaceous as well, so it's not the Cretaceous Cruise. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that works actually. No,
Also talking about the Cretaceous Cruise. The Parasaurolophus is kind of inhabited the inside of the cave, right?
Yeah.
And the river kind of goes into kind of multiple channels. One channel goes to the lagoon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if the Parasaurolophus poops inside the river,
that's how they feed the mosasaur, like when they don't have sharks on display.
Oh god. Okay, I can't get that out of my head now. This is really disgusting. How the hell do we get from here? Also,
yeah, I wish it was the Cretaceous Cruise, says Gary Pfeiffer. Yeah, me too. I mean, it's funny because the Cretaceous Cruise on the original maps also, I believe, led towards the Mosasaur Lagoon. Like, so they could have just the Avery is that sort of area. So the way they what annoys me about that is the way they enter the Mosasaur Lagoon, because the way they enter it is from the left-hand side, right?
Oh yeah.
So that means that the river... It annoys me because it means the river has to do this really convoluted roundabout way of getting to that side of the lagoon, when if they'd have just entered the Mosasaur paddock from the right-hand side, there'd be no problems. But it's also, for me, you know, knowing that Camp Cretaceous went into production during the creation of Fallen Kingdom, it's like they could have also had a shot of the lagoon, this like wide shot of the lagoon and Main Street and everything from like a bird's eye view that actually showed where the gate from Fallen Kingdom is, like actually connect some dots
and show the river channel connected to the lagoon.
Yep, just get it all out of the way. Like, just show it. Like, why do this whole thing of not having Main Street? And god, that really irks me.
I mean, there's a lot of potential to do this. Why?
Yeah, but again, I know this is like a lot of negativity, but I do have fun with the show. I can watch it and be like, you know, this is silly. My little nephew was watching it when he was over here, and he's 5 years old, and he loves it. Like, he thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. So. You know, I wasn't sitting there with him ranting in his ear like this, like this show is not canon, and like I wasn't saying that to him. Like, then you know, he can love it all he wants, and so
probably ask you, what's canon, Uncle Jack?
He I don't think he quite understands what I do.
Not yet.
So not yet, no. But it's one of those things where it's like, because I do work on the canon, like I respect Camp Cretaceous, so like if in the future if we ever get we're gonna get the chance to expand some stuff, it's like we're not gonna disregard it. Like, I don't like it as canon, but I'm not gonna like disregard it. I'll respect what they've done, and you know, not write anything that contradicts it. It's exactly what we did with Jurassic Park the game. Like, we did that same thing. It's like,
with one side.
Yeah, like, it's not to confirm that Jurassic Park the game's canon or anything, but I know a lot of people do like that game in the fandom. So it was like, when we came to write the stuff on the DPG website, I was like, let's cherry pick some little details that could really emphasize the argument that the DPG are trying to make, while at the same time, you know, have a bit of fun, because it kind of links it, like it does a little wink nod to Jurassic Park the game at the same time, and you know. That
uses the elements a bit, so yeah.
Yeah. And we also had some people chastise us for doing that, because they were like, you're just making things complicated. Like, it's like, we're just trying to have fun with it. It's like, if you don't consider Jurassic Park the game canon, you can still take what we've written as canon. Like, that's, if you understand what I mean.
Oh,
like,
when you say that, freaking mammoth.
Yes.
That,
yeah, the mammoth.
Kind of hits me hard, freaking it.
Yeah, I like that. That was good. Camp Cretaceous, you did really well with that. Like, more stuff like that. That's good. Yeah,
I mean, the first time I saw it, I just went, oh, freaking DPG.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's on the Masrani website. See,
Yeah.
again, this is the thing, because we haven't talked to any of the creators of Camp Cretaceous. We don't know if that was just a happy accident, or if they actually intended to like connect our website to it. But we've just sort of claimed it because it works. We're like, yeah, cool, thanks for doing that. That's great. That's good. Thanks for doing that, guys.
Yeah, I mean, probably this is the first time they got to do. They got to have the. What am I trying to say? They have the appreciation to do this, so they probably have to do it the best. So they start to do some research, maybe, and that's when they start to come across with the Masrani global.com, maybe.
Well, I know Colin, likes the websites and stuff, but the thing is like, I'm watching the show and I'm like, oh yeah, they just mentioned the Siberian mammoths. Okay, brilliant. That means they're doing their research, and then Main Street's not there. And then I'm like, okay, so are they doing their research or not? Like, I don't know anymore. It sort of muddies the water a bit.
I mean, that doesn't really. That doesn't really come to the story making department. That's just the animating department creating the models, but not.
Well, no, but I agree, but I also kind of disagree that because it should be part of the story. Because if you're using the lagoon and you're having this whole mosasaur sequence, when they get out of there, they're right next to Main Street. And what does Main Street have? It has phones, food, and all the things that these kids desire. And if you're not going to address that by just not having it there, then it's wrong. It's like, it should be part of the story. They should be looking over at Main Street going, oh my god, there's phones over there, we can call for help. Like,
that's gotta be their first thoughts when they survive the thing.
Mm-hmm. Especially Kenji, who says his dad works on the island. Especially him. He should know all about this.
His freaking dad got multiple condos on the island, so why not?
Exactly.
I mean, they're probably gonna use that thing in the second season or something. I mean, the condo is. I believe some people in the Discord channel said the condo is, probably across Main Street at the side, the left-hand side, maybe.
Yeah, there's all sorts. Like, this is the thing about Jurassic World. I mean, I'll see if I can pull up a shot in the stream.
Gary Pfeiffer said Kenji is dumb.
Yeah, Kenji is dumb.
It's a bit of a loon.
What were you saying?
He was a bit of a loon, but further on into the story, I kind of like his character a bit.
Yeah, I like his character.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I can. Okay, here's a good shot. Okay, so coming up on the live stream, let me know when you can see this image, and then I'll go into it.
Yeah, my live stream is a little bit slow, so when it comes, it comes.
Okay, so
yeah,
this is a shot of the Mosasaur Lagoon, right?
Yes, sir.
This is where the kids, look behind the Mosasaur Lagoon. Obviously, there's no monorail, but there's buildings. There's hundreds of people going off into the distance. You'll see it in the stream. I'll zoom right in. But there's like other buildings, like equivalent to what you see on Main Street, like over here. And then, and then over this side, you've got other buildings. There looks like there's a restaurant. There's all stuff behind, like you can see between the gaps of the seating area. Now I know, obviously, in Camp Cretaceous, this would be a lot of modelling, and that, there might be.
Yeah, that possibly.
Possibly. No, I can't see any monorail tracks, but there's also another path leading off there. But the point is there's lots of stuff, lots of busy commotion going on behind there, and it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, you need to address that sort of stuff. If you're going to go into the park and have these kids end up here before the boats have left, they're going to be running around looking for phones or something around here to call for help. Especially after a pteranodon attack, you think at least someone might have dropped a mobile phone or something, like anything. But a land, I know it's a bit, the kids wouldn't have known about that, but a landline phone or something just to make a call, be like, help, we're still here.
What, the Kirby satellite phone?
Yeah. Or then, I mean, even narratively, then let's say we're just going to go down a different plot here. They make a call. They're like, "Yeah, we're getting off the island. We've called someone." They turn up. You have another character you can have eaten. You can literally have another character who gets eaten, and then we got another death in the series. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't. Kids,
but I think I got a bit sidetracked. But the whole season 2 thing, I'm excited to see how they're going to do the whole. I'm more interested in how they're going to do the survival aspect and what they're going to see. Like, are they going to explore the island? Are we going to see, like, we see the Ceratosaurus in the trailer. It's like, that's cool. I'm excited for that. And the baryonyx and stuff. Like, there's that shot of the baryonyx and them hiding behind something, and I'm like thinking, is that the hotel? Do they actually go to the hotel? Like, is that in the hotel? Is that them answering my prayers for, like, them establishing this place, the canon of Jurassic World, basically? But I just have this sneaky suspicion, and you can all hear it here first. If it's true, I just think they're going to ignore it. I just don't even think they're going to address. I don't even think they're going to show the hotels. They're just going to be like, nah, don't even think about that. Don't even think
just
about it.
Just a background character.
Yeah. Or they're going to have a character go, oh look, the hotels are over there. They're great, and then for no reason they just explode. Like, and they're like, oh, we can't go there now. Yeah.
I don't know. I hope so. They could invest the hotel in such show. I really do, because, why? I'm not hating on the show. I'm just a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm hooked, as in, like, I want to know where they're going to take it. You know, this whole Manticore thing, I had no idea about that. So I was like, okay, is this another company? Is it not? Is it Biosyn? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. You'd think I would know, but I don't. and I'm excited because I said this before in a live stream that, like, this is the first thing since Jurassic Park 3 that I actually have no idea what's going on. So I'm like, okay, I'm completely blind, and I'm excited to be having these kinds of conversations again, because I haven't had these sort of fandom conversations properly in a while, like where you could really rip into something or go deep on it. Because usually I'm like, oh, I have to keep my mouth shut because I know stuff. But I'm just looking. That's why I'm like being quite harsh on it, like with the whole hotels thing and the thing. I'm like, I know that this canon. There's things on the island they could utilize, and they just don't. They just don't do it. They're like, look at this, look over here. Look at this, smoke and mirrors. That's what they're doing. And look at this shiny object. Don't look over there. Don't think about Main Street.
People pointing out, hey, look at the hotel, and they go, hey, no, look at the innovation center.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool if they go, we need to call for help, and Kenji's like, okay, well, the best place to probably do that is the control center. So they go in and they see Lowry's toys on the side and all that. Like, that'd be kind of cool. But I'm just talking about, like, when they want to sleep. I've just got this image of them sleeping rough in the forest, and they're like, or like they're up a tree, like Grant and Lex and Tim style. And I'm sitting there thinking, there's a Hilton hotel on this island. You've got the comfiest beds known to man on this island. TV.
Or the freaking restaurants. Freaking hell. Just use a table.
Let's go into the screen caps of Jurassic World one more time. Let me just see. I want to see. Look at this Zack and Gray's hotel room. Look at this. Okay, you telling me? I'm gonna put it up on the stream. You're telling me the kids wouldn't want to stay here? Like, I'm just speculating. They might do. They might address it. But, like, just look at this room.
Go to the hotel because it's too far away. I don't know.
It's too far away. And then when Gray opens up the doors, oh my god, guys, this is hilarious. When Gray flings open the window, what do we have here? Let's have a look at this. See, this is what I mean. Look at this. There's the bloomin' Mosasaur arena, so you should see all this. But look, over here, down here, we've got a swimming pool. We've got this massive...
Like a beach.
Yeah, we've got a beach. And it's all fenced off by the Mosasaurus, by the way. And then you've got tanning beds. You've got more beaches down here. And then over here, you've got, obviously, the swimming pool. You might want to avoid this area because of the T-Rex. But at the same time, there's behind the T-Rex kingdom, and I don't hear many people talk about this, there's a whole village. There's a whole... That's where Kenji's probably his dad's...
Yeah, condominium
is probably going to be there. Somewhere around here, which is on the stream now. I've just seen, I'm zooming in on it. But there's like a whole almost village here. So, why not go here? Why not go to this hotel? Why not? But I keep repeating it, but I think they're just going to ignore it. And you're going to have this shot of the kids sleeping rough. And they're like, oh God, we're going to die on this island. I'm like, go to the hotels. Go to the hotels.
I mean, they're probably going to take a shelter inside the condominiums. Isn't there a shot of Darius hiding from the T-Rex in the Paddock 9?
Yeah, he's in the Why is he in the T-Rex kingdom? Why is he not relaxed on a bed in the hotel?
I don't know. I just have a feeling that they're making their way onto the condos.
I mean, if that's the answer they want, if what's his name, Kenji's like, look, I know my dad's condos over here, like I can get in. I've got a key or whatever. Like I can get in, and I know we can call for help. Whatever. If that's a plot point, I'll be like, fair enough. And if a character goes, hey, why don't we go stay in the hotels? Like if they address it, I'll eat my hat. But I just have this sneaky suspicion they're not even they're just not even going to mention them whatsoever.
They're not even going to look at it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just hope. Just gotta hope.
Yeah, that's what you can do. Right, I need to zoom in this frame. I'm doing all these reads.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. See, that's the thing I'm trying to avoid in Dino-Defenders is I'm trying to think of stuff like that. So if people come to watch the show, they're like, "Well, hang on a second. Why didn't they just do this?" Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I don't fall to my own trap. But at the same time, I welcome anyone to like find stuff like that because I'd rather know about it rather than not, because then I'd learn from it for like future stuff. That's the thing.
I mean, that's the important thing, having a straightforward kind of a plan for a movie.
Well, that's also the thing I'm risking with this show is like I'm making this up as I go along. So, I mean, for the most part. So I'm like, okay, am I going to mess this up? And I don't know if I will on a broad show. Like, I had trouble. The hardest thing I had was episode 3 because I was like, okay, the Mega Raptor, and this was the thing I had the problem with. I was like, the Mega Raptor is going to jump up. You've seen episode 3, right, Zul? So the Mega Raptor is going to jump up and it's going to bite John's arm, right? I knew that was going to happen, and I was like, okay, so why the hell would they build this paddock with a wall that this creature could jump up towards? Like, and then I was like, okay, I need to answer this because I didn't think of it and I was already heavily animating it. And this is like one of those classic things where it's like, if this was a movie, people would be like going crazy, like, oh, they're just so dumb, they didn't think of this thing. But I'm openly saying I haven't planned this. The whole point of this project is I'm just winging it to see what happens, to see what the end product is at the end of it, just to see. It's like an experiment. And then I was like, well, hang on, what if I say that, you know, it jumps up, it gets his arm, and then have a line from like Rose or someone later on where they're like, and this is a bit of a spoiler for episode 4, by the way, so I'm just gonna say it, but like they're like, we didn't know it could jump, like we had no idea. So like that's gonna be said by a character. They're like, they had no idea it could do that kind of maneuver. But then I was like, but I need to cement it because I'm like, it's so close, and I've also drawn on the Megaraptor paddock where, if you look at when we introduced the Megaraptor paddock, there's a shot of the paddock in full, and you can see the claw marks sort of pretty much around the same area where it jumps up to get John. Because I was hinting at that it's like kind of been practicing.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, well, hang on. They would have seen it doing that on like the security cams or something. So I'm like, okay, I need some sort of other excuse. And that's when I went, oh, okay, genius idea. This used to be the Megalosaurus paddock, and they moved it. So this isn't its paddock. And I was like, brilliant. There you go, done. Like those claw marks could be anything. And hopefully I've kind of answered that now. So like in episode 3, they say this used to be the Megalosaurus paddock, and we had to move it because the Megaraptor was trying to escape from its other paddock, which we haven't seen. And so hopefully that quells some of the problems that anyone might have if they dive deep into it, like later on or whatever.
I mean, people are enjoying this show, yeah. So they probably won't find any problems with it.
Oh, well, I've had a few people reach out with some issues, but they're more like your dinosaurs are completely inaccurate, and I just laughed it off and said, "Thus, I don't care." Like someone commented about it, and I was like, I can't remember exactly what they said now. It's underneath like all the episodes. They went to each episode to like ridicule the dinosaur designs, and I just addressed it, and I just went, "No, it's just how I just wanted to design them." It's my choice. Hey, I like these.
Design is my choice.
Yeah, it's like I like the look of these dinosaurs because I drew it, I made it. So there you go. What are you going to say now? Like this is what they look like in my show. I'm not actively trying to make them look accurate or anything. I'm making them how I want them to look. You don't have to like it. Yeah, you don't have to like it. But then but that inspired me, and this person might kill me, but like that inspired me to do something in episode 4, which I'm not going to reveal until the episode's out. But like I was like, okay, if this person thinks these dinosaurs are inaccurate, wait until they get a load of this. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
They're gonna blow their heads off.
Yeah, there's gonna be something up here that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do something that makes their head swivel because it's like, yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: if you want to create a project of your own, you cannot force yourself to create that project. You know, you need to have passion. So just have fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm also like I'm a big fan of like old school looking dinosaurs. I just love their aesthetic.
Yeah, the freaking scaly ones. Yeah.
I grew up on like Ray Harryhausen movies, and not only Jurassic Park, but like one of my favorite films, dinosaur films, is The Land That Time Forgot. And those dinosaurs are so horrendously inaccurate. But I love them. I love their old school, like really primordial looking designs. And like, I have nothing against dinosaurs having feathers or whatever, but I'm a scales guy. I love reptilian looking dinosaurs. I just do. I just think they look cool. And I know when we're talking about animals, like looking cooler is such a weird thing to say, like when you're talking about real life animals or whatever. But I think scales look cooler. I just do.
Yeah,
I think feathers are fine, and then the colours and all that. But I don't know. I'm a scaly reptile person. I like crocodiles, and I like Komodo dragons in real life, and they're so prehistoric to me that I like looking at them and then looking at dinosaurs and going, yeah, that's what they should look like.
Yeah, I mean, I freaking love the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, of course, but I still do kind of like the old school dinosaurs. You know, the Allosaurus from Valley of Gonji. That's also one of my favorite designs. Freaking cool.
Yeah. They're more, I don't know, there's one way of putting it. It's like there's a sort of, this is a weird way of putting it, I'll admit, but like there's like a weird Victorian era type, because I guess that's when they were designing them, kind of like that, like early 20th century, kind of like the dinosaurs walking upright kind of thing, where they didn't quite know what they were. There's just something about that I'm really drawn to.
Yeah, it's really interesting just when you think about it.
Like I love those old Crystal Palace Iguanodon and Megalosaurus. Like I love those because they even though they're just completely wrong, I don't know, I just love them. I just think they look really menacing and like brutish. Like they look like they could
It just shows the contrast of thinking between their era and our era.
Well, that's the thing. It's also like a lot of, and I know I'm not a paleontologist, so I'm probably going to get a lot of paleo people shellac me here, but like a lot of it is guesswork. Like what I laugh is when they find like a toe, and then they're like, here's what the dinosaur looked like, and there's this like artist's interpretation of what they think the dinosaur looked like, and it's the whole thing from a toe. And I'm like, okay, so I know how you've kind of got here. You've looked at the toe. I could be completely wrong here actually, but like you've looked at the toe and you've gone, that is extremely similar to this toe of this dinosaur we have over here that has this, we have more of a skeleton of. So but because of the size of this toe bone and the age of the dinosaur that had this toe bone, we're going to assume that this is an adult. So whether it's big or small, it's going to look like kind of like this, and then the artist comes up with this idea. But for me, it's like, okay, so that's complete. That is pretty much a complete fabrication, minus you've got some similar looking toe bones from another dinosaur. So I'm like,
simplicity.
Yeah, so I'm like, a lot of this is guesswork. So it's like, who's to say there wasn't a dinosaur that existed on the planet at some point that looked like the Crystal Palace dinosaurs? They just weren't the Iguanodon or the Megalosaurus. What if there was a different dinosaur or some sort of reptilian creature that looked pretty much exactly like those Crystal Palace dinosaurs? Then all you'd have to do is just change the nameplate on those on those old dinosaurs, and then they're accurate. And like, hey presto.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's something in Dino-Defenders about all that sort of stuff where like it's about you know, what we presume dinosaurs to look like and what the reality is. I do kind of address that later on.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think about it. We would never get a accurate, like 100% accurate dinosaur representation in future times as well, because we won't probably know more about them. We just know it a little bit.
Yeah, we know but a fraction of that time period. Like it is, I think it's why a lot of young people, no disrespect to young people, I mean I'm quite young, but like a lot of young people presume that we know a lot. And it's like, no, we barely know anything. Like that's the whole point. Like we barely know what's under the ocean, for God's sake. Like let alone what was happening on the Earth 150 million years ago.
we don't even know what's in space. I mean, I don't know if a freaking xenomorph is up there, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, just never know anything about this Earth 100%.
Well, it's like when they I can't remember, was it? I don't know if I want to get this wrong. Let me just Google something quickly. But there's this guy. I don't know if you ever listened to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Not much.
What's this guy's name? Let me just see. I'm just gonna bear with me for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Okay, I believe it is Graham Hancock. I don't want to like misrepresent his positions, but I believe he's the scientist who. Oh no, he's a British writer and journalist known for his pseudo-scientific theories. but he's done a lot of research on this stuff, and no, maybe it's not Graham Hancock. Maybe it's someone else I'm thinking of. But anyway, the point is that some scientists are now starting to believe that the human species, like the Sphinx, you know, the Sphinx that's next to the pyramids, that's like thousands of years older than the pyramids. So, and they believe that the human species might have been on this planet far longer than what we have originally anticipated. But the problem is when great cataclysms happen, they pretty much completely wipe the history books clean of any evidence of past humans. Like there's this guy called Brian Forrester on YouTube who's like, this guy goes around. I'm subscribed to his channel. He's like this old guy who goes around looking at ancient civilization stuff, and he live streams a lot from these places. And one of the things he's always trying to point out is that there seems to be all these burn marks along all these sort of like almost ancient Egyptian and Mesopotamian kind of buildings, and these burn marks seem to indicate a great, well, could be like a solar flare or something that came along and just sort of slapped the earth with this great amount of heat and just completely wiped entire civilizations off the planet, burning everything and all evidence that they were even there. And it's starting, as from what I understand, some of the evidence that's coming to light suggests that, you know, the whole top of North Africa was green. It wasn't this like great expansive desert, the Sahara Desert, and that. It was this luscious green tropical place. And it's sort of, the dates are kind of matching up where this theoretical, or this, well, what the evidence seems to point towards, this great, what they believe is a solar flare from the sun, basically slapped the earth like a giant whip, like a long line, whipped the earth, and it hit the top of North Africa and killed everything and destroyed.
So it's like a great extinction again.
Yes, and that's what, because the Egyptians and stuff, they sort of just went. Like, I mean, I know the Egyptian people are still around, but I mean, like the Egyptians, well, that sort of culture. There's parts of it where it's just they just disappear from history books. Like, one day they're there and the next day they're not. So like, this idea that we know everything about history, and I believe actually even in the Sahara Desert there's sand dunes. Oh god, I'm gonna have to try and remember where I've heard this now, because I might sound like I'm talking completely out of my butt. But like the sand dunes are like blowing and revealing these buildings that have been hidden under these giant sand dunes around the same area. So like, that would also lend evidence to the fact that they were buried under great mounds of sand, you know, thousands and thousands of years ago. So then when you say all that, and that's our history, that's human history. So when people are coming out with stuff like that, and then I'm like, okay, well, what was going on in the dinosaur era? Like, we're talking how long have humans been on the planet? Well, the answer now is we don't exactly know exactly how long, but the best estimates at the moment put us at about humankind being, well, the actual Homo sapiens being on the planet 40,000, maybe longer than that, 40,000 years, but not civilizations where we're cultured or whatever. We're still talking very primitive people. This is if you obviously believe all this sort of stuff, but the dinosaurs were on the planet for how long? How long was the Jurassic era itself? The Jurassic era itself was like, what? How many millions of years?
Up to 100, maybe, I think.
I want to get this exact.
Yeah, we don't want any any people come it out.
The Jurassic era spanned 56 million years.
Mm-hmm.
So think how long that time period is. So my point is, who the heck knows what went on in that time period that we don't know about? Like, what went on, what evolved, what died? Like, we're only getting but a fraction of the past, like, but a mere fraction. And then you go on Twitter or some other social media site and you've got these paleo nuts going absolutely ballistic, like, because you've got the tale of this fictional dinosaur wrong in your series, like on YouTube. You're like, okay, all right, well, you clearly know everything that was going on there. Like, come on, have some fun. It's fiction.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a kind of like a 2D animation, right? So every frame you did is kind of I don't know. It's not one frame to another.
No, the plant life's not even accurate. Like, I'm painting these reeds right now, and these are called, I believe they're called cattail reeds, and they're from the UK. Or well, they're found in the UK. I don't know if they're found in the like sort of Amazon type jungle.
Okay.
I'm just gonna
count how high the thing is. I don't know.
Yes, cattail reeds.
Looking into it a little bit too much, I think.
okay, where are they found? They're called Typha reeds. Just trying to see where they are exactly found. You largely distributed in the northern hemisphere. So there you go. So they wouldn't be in the Amazon sort of area of the world at all. But the point is in the series, as Gary Pfeiffer says, invasive plants, Jack. But there is a narrative purpose for these reads. Like, I'm not just randomly put them in, but the point is that they're not accurate to the area. And even like all the trees and stuff, I think I said this on a previous live stream, I'm sure there'd be like a botanist who would, if I was to show them this series and be like, can you name the species of trees and plants? They'd look at me and be like, these all look completely wrong. Like I can't name these trees. And there'd be human biologists who would look at the people in the series and be like, human eyes aren't that big.
And like, the bodies aren't that big. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's all for narrative, well, for the drama and for the story, to tell the story. But yeah, there'll be some people out there who will just like, when it comes to dinosaurs, that is their bread and butter. Like, that's what they know and that's what they talk about. And I'm not saying they're wrong for their theories or anything. I'm just saying that, like, to assume that you know exactly what's going on and then assume that what you're saying is right, that's where you're going to find yourself at a loss when a fact or something comes to light that counters what you've put in your head for so long.
Yeah, it's kind of up to the people just to think about it. I mean, just say it's stylized. That will probably put them down.
Yeah, that's the best way. Just simply, it's stylized.
It's stylized. It's my own style. Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what I said. Like, I was just like, yes, I designed them this way. It's whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just do gentleman style. I mean.
Gentleman style.
Yeah. It's the movie by Guy Ritchie, and
I haven't seen that actually.
Yeah,
I do need to watch it. I like Guy Ritchie's film Snatch. I thought that was very funny.
I haven't watched a lot more of his movies, but Gentleman is definitely one of my top 5, I would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of like it a little bit. It's a story about a kind of a gangster type thing, and
yeah.
Well, you got Matthew McConaughey and Charlie Hunnam in it, so what could go wrong?
Well, that's what Snatch is, an earlier film of his, which is got Jason Statham, Vinnie Jones. Oh God, who else is in it? It's got Brad Pitt, and it's Brad Pitt's brilliant in it. He plays this like Irish pikey. That's what they call him. Well, he's not Irish. He's not. Yeah, he's not exactly Irish. The whole joke in the film is like you can't understand a word he's saying, and it's about British gangsters, and it's very funny. It's not one of my top films, but when I was a teenager, I was obsessed with that film for like a while. And me and my friends would always be quoting it. But, I do highly recommend it. If you like The Gentleman, from what I know of Guy Ritchie's gangster films, I think you'd like Snatch.
Yeah, he's also got Hugh Grant, so that's kind of a plus.
Yeah. What's that? Titan of Serpents in the chat says that means you need to erase all of those cattail reeds now. Yeah, yeah, they're all fake. I shouldn't have them in there. They're not real plants to the environment that they should be in.
Just say to them, I like those plants, so fuck off.
No, I wouldn't tell Titan to F off. I like my chat.
Yeah, of course.
It's funny, I actually there was a couple of people I actually had blocked from chat because of, well, one was past just insulting. This was ages ago, like years ago, and one was just because they were insulting other members of the chat. So I was like, oh man. But I've recently like unblocked them just to see, because I don't like stopping people from talking. It's just I put them on a bit of a timeout. But the
Yeah.
it's really funny because I'm like, I wonder if they'll ever know. Like if they've just gone, oh, we're blocked from them, and then it's like they don't realise that I just unblocked them for a little bit, so just to see if they'd ever come back and we could make amends. But we'll see.
I have my own suspicions on who those would be, but just thinking that saying, "Hey, you blocked me, mate."
Yeah, if they say that, I'll be like, yeah, I put you on timeout because you were being a dick, and so and so now you're back. There you go. Welcome back. Now be good.
Yeah, they just need to put a cap on it or have some restraints on the chat. I mean, you're talking to people that you don't even know, so have some respect, some people.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what their lives are like right now. Like you just have some respect. Yeah, exactly, Zul. You've got it. You hit the nail on the head.
I mean, that's what my parents taught me. So, just lending it off to the younglings.
Exactly.
Just be respectful to the people.
So I'm just greening up these reads now.
Yeah. Oh, there's this one chat by Titan of Serpents. He says there's one video on the allure of vintage dinosaur artwork, and I really like it. Also, yes, I really do like that video.
Have you got a link to that video? I'd like to watch that.
Hey, I've got it. I also subscribe to the guy, so it's really interesting. He somewhat did a couple of reviews on dinosaur media, like Walking Dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, and he has kind of a good opinions on this one.
Okay.
Hold on a sec.
That's the thing. It's like for me, I guess I have yet to see a bit of dinosaur media or entertainment that utilizes the modern look of dinosaurs in a way that really entices me. Like a lot of them are like these Discovery Channel type documentaries, and while they can be fun in their own right, their budgets, like I have yet to see like a Jurassic Park level piece of dinosaur media that shows feathered dinosaurs in a way that makes me go, okay, I'm on board now. Like I really I find these to be amazing. So we'll have to wait and see what the future holds, but I've yet to experience that kind of thing.
I mean, here's the thing that I don't understand about today's society or today's company on making medias. Why would they make walking dinosaurs in the 21st century, right? Like,
I guess
we have all these informations that they don't imply.
It's money. They need to get the funding. I'm sure someone would like to do it, but it's finding the funding, and unfortunately Jurassic has the complete monopoly on dinosaur media. Like it really does. Like that's no joke. So it's like
always Walking with Dinosaurs.
Not anymore. Back in the 90s, like late 90s, when Walking with Dinosaurs was originally being made, they could, but not anymore. Like now, you know, the BBC is really in no position to have. They don't have the money to front for something of that scale. And if you're going to do feathers bring a whole different set of challenge to animation, as you probably know, than scales. So your budget's gone up straight away. So it's like I can see why. That's why you watch all these like documentaries that deal with feathered dinosaurs, and they all have this similar kind of feeling to them in terms of their animation.
Yeah.
But I'd say like just Jurassic has the monopoly on it, but right now I think personally Primal after Dino-Defenders, because that's obviously the best thing dinosaur related.
Show Primal?
Outside of Jurassic Park and behind Dino-Defenders. Yeah, I'd say Primal is my favourite dinosaur related thing at the moment. I just love that show.
Oh, I haven't watched the full thing yet, but I did watch.
I'm desperately trying to get Clayton to watch it, He won't. Clayton just won't watch it. He says it looks too violent, and I think they're just doing the violence for violence sake. And I'm like, Clayton, you got to judge it by watching it. Like, you can't just assume it's this one thing and then not watch it. And he was like, I just don't think it's for me. And I'm just like, well, you'd only know that for sure if you watch the show. And I think, like, fair enough if he watches it and then he doesn't like it. Fair enough, you know. But I think he'll like it because it's like that. It's got heart to it. Like, it's not it is violent. Like, the show is massively violent, but at the same time, it's not violent for no reason. Like, that's the world building, because you're following this guy who lives in a world full of dinosaurs, monsters, witches, like all sorts of crazy nonsense. Like, it's not just dinosaurs, it's all sorts of stuff. But it's this fantasy world, and the brutal part of it is because everything's primal. Like, it's like everything's survival of the fittest in this world, and it's brutal because that's just the world that he lives in. But that builds his character, and it's like, without going to spoilers, that's the whole reason why the main character is the way he is because of the violence in the world that he lives in. But anyway, the point is, I think Clayton would like it. I just don't know why he's not. And he'd be talking about that on his channel. I know he would. It'd give him something fresh to talk about.
I mean, of course. I've watched a couple of shots or scenes, as you would say, of Primal, and it got me really interested to it. Even though it's violent, of course it is violent, but it got some heart to it with the kind of family context of the Tyrannosaurus and the guy.
They're capitalizing on Blue and Owen. That's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to capitalize on the success of Blue and Owen by having this character befriend this dinosaur, and they go on these adventures, kind of thing. I completely see what they're doing, but oh man, I just yeah.
I don't know when I'm gonna watch that show, but
oh man, it is really good. Ilya in the chat said, Jack, where is this area that you're painting? I'll show you. I'll bring up episode 1. Okay, it is. When I get to it, here, it's in this paddock. In this paddock right here. That's where we are. Actually, that's funny enough, because you see that tree in the background there? Like, you see this tree, and you see these vines, and then this log here. That's where we're looking. So
see some continuation right there.
Oh yeah, this is the one thing I wanted to try and do with this show as well, is have good geography. So like, if you really like, that's the one thing about this show I hope people realize is I'm trying to add in a lot of details. So if you go back and watch it and take note of the details and stuff, you're gonna hopefully pick up that things. Obviously, there's going to be some things that don't match because it's all hand painted, like exactly. But it should all hopefully match, or like you should know the geography of the place, like know where you are.
Yeah, I could see people getting hyped up about it. Like they're saying, if they are paying attention, like in detail, like in tiny detail, they'll probably be off of their butts or something. Hey, I know that thing. I know that place or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to give good geography for where the characters are, because then that means you know where they are. And then if something's, let's say for argument's sake, if there's something lurking in this shot specifically that I'm painting right now, you'd be like, oh, I know where they are, because I know where this is. Like, I know what's in this paddock. I know where. Oh god,
I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's if you've rewatched it, because obviously I haven't revealed what lives in this paddock yet in the series. So
yeah, I mean, I will probably at some time.
It's just I'm busy with my university work or something.
Hmm.
It's
Do you say university work?
yeah, my assignments, all that stuff,
Yeah.
creating buildings and all this. Hey, it's pain, it's pain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I didn't realise you were at university.
yeah. Well, it's not technically university. It's kind of a learning institute.
Okay.
It's not really that high status, but yeah, it's kind of fun. A little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Is that how you like got into? You wanted to get into like CGIing and stuff? Is that do you build buildings in the computer and that?
Yeah, we're kind of creating buildings from scratch, like how thick is the walls and how long. It's just following by the books.
Okay.
Sometimes it's but it's kind of enjoyable sometimes.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
It's really a pain when submitting assignments. So.
I'm just gonna cut this water out. What was I gonna say? Something I was gonna mention. So what? Come on, you got to spill the beans. Or what is the next Clayton intro you're doing? Can you spoil it for us so then Clayton can get angry with me? and then I can be Clayton. I got an exclusive, and then I'll be like, I know you're making a Primal one because you've watched Primal and you love it. And it's the best show ever.
Come on, I'll probably be mad at you. I'm the young one right here. You'd probably be mad at me. So I don't know if I'm gonna spill the beans, but I have the list right here for it.
Oh yeah, no, you don't actually have to tell me. I'm just taking the mic.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna spoil one thing. Dimorphodon is gonna kind of come back.
Ooh, I like it. That Dimorphodon is one of the most underused dinosaurs in the new series. I think for me so far, the Dimorphodon is like the new bloody Dilophosaurus.
Oh, because it appears in one movie.
Yeah, and it hasn't come back yet. So I'm like, oh no, are we going to be looking at like Jurassic Park 9 and people are going to be like, where's my Dilophosaurus? Where's the Dimorphodon? What is it about dinosaurs that begin with the letter D?
And maybe Clayton will feature it in top 10 most underrated dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be just a B-roll type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still. Oh, talking about the B-rolls, there's a B-roll about an Apatosaurus for Clayton. So this is your chance to kind of give me ideas on what you want it to be.
Okay. So what you mean? Like Clayton wants one with an Apatosaurus?
Yeah, there's a whole kind of dinosaurs, but I just finished the Apatosaurus about a few weeks ago, and I just don't know what to do with it. So I'm just thinking, maybe ask somebody else's opinions and what they would like to see.
Ooh. You could have it stumble onto screen, injured because the Indominus just attacked it, and then flop over and die. Just like you don't even see the Indominus, you just see it waddle on. It's all cut up and injured, and it's like, and then just falls over.
Come on, man, that's too sad. But anyway, it could be one of the things. I don't maybe. Clayton, if you're seeing this, don't get mad at me.
Have the Apatosaurus killing the Indominus, says Titan of Serpents. Ooh, there you go. Have it tail whip the Indominus.
Yeah. Tail whip the carnivore Indominus.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like what is it? Mother, I can't remember her name now in Land Before Time. She tail whips Sharptooth. That's what came to mind when I saw that.
Land Before Time. Was it the dinosaur cartoon from the
Krask says, have it nurturing a nest, motherly like.
Oh, like the VR one.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, that's kind of good. Probably gonna be a 2 or something or more. Well, we could fit that one thing.
Okay, I need to sort out this. There's some things about doing the watercolors in this that I get annoyed at. So that's why a lot of these backgrounds do take a while to do.
Yeah. I mean, especially painting the foliage. That's the
Yeah.
one thing I really like doing, the foliage. I really like seeing trees, birds, and all that crap. But making them is a pain, I would say.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, throughout this whole season, I would say that you're doing a good job, mate. So, good night.
Yeah, it's hopefully just something a bit different compared to what like you see a lot of other people doing online. So I don't see many people doing watercolor stuff, and
Yeah, especially watercolor and then overlay with Photoshop. So yeah.
that's one of the reasons. I mean, it's funny because there's like, I didn't even finish my sentence then. I was to say it's one of the reasons that I chose to go this route is because I was watching I can't even remember which Disney film it was. I was like, look at these painted backgrounds. I was like, man, I should physically paint the backgrounds of Dino-Defenders. But I was already halfway through episode 1. So then I was like, okay, there's just gonna be a style shift. So if you watch episode 1, it starts off, there's no watercolor backgrounds, and then I think
It's just Photoshop.
Yeah, and I think the first one you see in that episode is actually Buzz asleep, but that wasn't the first one I worked on in that episode because that shot came later. But there's a shot of it's when they're meeting Rose in her room. You suddenly start to see all the backgrounds suddenly become like Photoshop, become watercolor. Sorry, and I was just like, okay.
I mean, it showed progress, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What's this?
Okay. That's good.
There's a lot of people asking this.
Hello, Derek Porter. How are you doing?
Derek Porter.
Derek Porter? That sounds like an alternative name for Harry Potter that they didn't choose. Like, what are we going to name our character? Oh, how about Derek Porter?
If Professor Snipe said that, it was Snape.
That was
Derek
his
Porter.
ultimate name. Derek Snipe, or Captain Snipe.
Captain Snipe, I presume.
My wife, she met Alan Rickman. She worked at the Old Vic Theatre in London, and he came to watch a show, and she was on the ticket desk when he came in, and she said he just came up and he was like, "Tickets for Alan or Rickman," in his classic
Dude, that
voice.
is great.
I just love it. Tickets for Alan or Rickman. It's just like tickets for Alan
For Alan or Rickman.
or Rickman.
That's great, man. I've always wanted to meet him, and they're just doing impressions of him, but yeah. But that's great. That's great. It's good that people have experiences. Stumbling onto their celebrities.
Oh God! When I lived in London, I stumbled across loads. They're just wandering around, literally. So like, I moved to London. I lived in London 5.5 years. I moved down in September of 2010, and I kid you not, within 3 weeks, I was given a tour to Johnny Depp and his family around this toy store for 3.5 hours. Because I worked at this toy store at Hamleys, this massive toy shop in London. And I was like, they were like, Johnny Depp's coming in tonight, and I was like, oh really? And they closed the store early, and then like, do you want to give him a tour around the store? And there was quite a few of us, but like, I ended up playing like Connect 4 with his kids and stuff. It was really, really surreal. And I was like, I come from this small town in the countryside, and I'm now living in London, and then like barely 3 weeks in, I'm now talking to Johnny Depp. I'm like, oh my God. But it wasn't
I
like,
can just imagine Connect 4 with the body motion of Jack Sparrow.
well, his son is called Jack, so like we were joking about it was the Battle of the Jacks over this Connect 4. But it's one of those things where it's like he's probably met so many people in his career and stuff like that. That was like, for me, that's like a moment of like, wow, that was the first moment I met a big celebrity, and it wasn't just like a passing on the street or something, but it was like you're spending hours with them, yeah. But then like to him, it's like, you know, once you leave his vision, you're forgotten. It's like, you know, which I don't blame him.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, but like when I was there, I met because this toy store is the most famous toy store in the UK, so like celebrities are coming there all the time. But there, I saw Nicolas Cage in there. I saw I did a puppet show for one of the guitarists of Linkin Park, or was it the bassist, something like that. And James is it James McAvoy, the guy who plays Professor X in the new films?
Oh yes, James McAvoy.
James McAvoy, yeah, he walked in one day with his kids on his shoulders, and you know, gave me a smile as he came in. I was like, hello, like, as he came into the store. And one of my favourite ones was Charles Dance, the guy. He's in Godzilla King of the Monsters and Alien 3 and stuff. Like,
yeah.
When I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, I loved you in Alien 3. And he's like, oh, he's a bit surprised because not many people say that to him, I don't think. I was like, yeah, I think that's your best roles. But it's one of those things where you like, yeah, it's like one of those things where you don't. Yeah, a lot of people tend to get nervous around famous people. I never did. I just sort of talk to them like I talk to anyone else. I just, I don't really care that you're famous. I'm just, all I want to do, if I get the chance, like I won't pressure it, but if I get the chance, because, you know, I'm not the sort of person. I've only ever asked for like one autograph in my life, and that was Ridley Scott on the but I was at the Prometheus premiere. I didn't go to it. I was just, I'd never been to a premiere, and there was this happening in London, and being a big Alien fan, I was like, oh, I'm going to go down and see what it's like. I've never been to a premiere. I'll go stand at the sidelines. And I got kind of freaked out because it's a lot of people like screaming celebrity names and then frothing at the mouth because they've seen like Charlize Theron or Michael Fassbender. They're like, oh my god, like, God, you gotta give me your signature. And I was like, oh my god, I'm kind of freaked out by this. But I took my booklet from the Alien Blu-ray because I was like, I don't know if I can get a signature, what I want them to sign. Like, I have no idea. But I was like, well, I'll take this booklet from my Alien Blu-rays, and I'll if I get the chance, I'll ask Ridley Scott for a signature for that, because he actually he writes a forward in this booklet, and then he has his signature in it, and it's obviously like a printed signature. But I just thought, what if I actually got him to sign it? Like sign your forward to my Blu-ray. I don't want some printed signature. I want your real signature. So wait, I'll get it. I'll show it on stream. Actually, 2 seconds. I'll pull up my camera.
I mean, personally, I don't really care about getting an autograph or something. I just want to meet people.
There we go. It's my Alien anthology. Oh, actually, I might need to make my camera a bit bigger. There you go. So there's the printed signature for everyone from Ridley Scott's thing, and then that's where he signed it. But that's like the only signature I've ever actually, I've even asked for. Like, I was just like, I was like, okay, because I'm not like a big. Oh, actually, no, tell a lie. I am completely talking out my butt. I got Harvey Jason to sign my bloody Lost World VHS tape when we interviewed the guy who played RJ.
Yeah.
Completely talking out my butt. I forgot that one. And I have... So 2, actually. And that was one of those things... Because Sam never released that interview because we met him in for a podcast, but that was in person. We were having a talk with him. And
Sam Neill?
No. Harvey Jason, who plays RJ in The Lost World, and then I had my Lost World tape on me because I knew we were going to go speak to him. So yeah, I'm talking up my butt. I asked him for a signature as well, and he signed my Lost World VHS. But I do. The only other thing I have a signature on is a Red Dwarf DVD, which is this sci-fi sitcom in the UK. But that's not that was bought for me for Christmas with a signature already on it. So I didn't go out and ask for it. But my point is that like I don't. When talking to famous people, it's like I don't know. You just talk to them like they're anyone else, and it's like I don't like the idea of pestering them because they get it all the time, and they don't know you, and frankly they don't care. Like that's the thing. They're like, I don't care who you are, but some people just they don't understand that, and they'll go running full force towards someone and be like, oh God, I love you. Like, oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this one instance where I don't know, a guy pushes to get an autograph from Chris Pratt, but just flips him off, and then Chris Pratt got mad. I don't know, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I mean, just like I said, I don't really care about getting autographs. Just getting to meet them or talk with them is already a huge honor or something like that. I mean, look at James Beaver, they gave me Beaver. He freaking met Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Be sweet. You got to touch Jeff Goldblum freaking out.
Well, that was the thing. Like I'll tell you this. Like when we were, because obviously we went to the Jurassic premieres. Like working with Colin and going to meetings and stuff with like Frank Marshall and just sitting in a room with those people and just getting to work. That's weird. Like that is, you're sitting there and I'm like going, oh my God, this is like the guy who made or produced a lot of my childhood favorites. Like, oh my God, like Frank Marshall sitting there like, Jesus Christ, this is crazy. But then you sit there and after about 5 minutes you're watching him stuff this pizza down his throat and then you're like, okay, yeah, he's just like everyone else. He's just here to, to work on Jurassic. Yeah, and just talk about dinosaurs for a little bit and all that and just have some fun and organise what we're doing. But when we were on the when we went to the premiere of Fallen Kingdom, you're sat in the screen waiting for the film to start and they're showing like what's going on outside at the premiere, and there's like Spielberg turned up, and I remember all of us like who were there, we're like, oh my God, Spielberg's outside this building that we're sat in right now while we're waiting for this bloody film to start. Before everyone gets in. And then when we got outside, like there's a whole VIP area where we're not allowed in, so we're like, oh, unless you have special invite or whatever. So we're like, oh, okay, we're not going to meet any of these people. But people like Colin was out with everyone else, like not in the VIP area, which was kind of nice. Like he was talking to all the fans and stuff. But the next day, me and the DPG guys, we all went to Universal Studios in LA just to go ride the Jurassic Park ride and have a bit of a relaxing day, kind of celebrate on our own. And we're going on the Universal Backlot tour, and they have like these little golf buggies. Like I don't know if you've ever watched on YouTube the King Kong ride, the 3D ride, the Peter Jackson one. Yeah, that's part of the Backlot tour. So we're in those sort of buggies, is what I'm trying to say. And we're passing this golf cart just around the back of the studios that they have there, and there's this guy on his phone just sat on his own, just sat in his golf cart, and we look over and we're like, that's Steven Spielberg. Like, and so Yaroslav just turns around and goes, Steven, like that, and he looks up and smiles at us and waves, and then we're past him, and then for a split moment we're like, holy crap, we just saw Spielberg for like 2 seconds, and then we were making like a joke about how like that was actually just an animatronic of him that they always have there when it go. But no, that was a crazy moment because you're like, oh my God, like we just saw the man himself. Yeah, and we didn't think we would.
Just come through with a general thinking.
Yeah, and it's just funny to think like he was just sat there, minding his own business, like he didn't care, like it was just sitting there on his own. It was a really like sort of, I don't know, kind of sweet moment to see him just in his natural environment. Does that make sense? Like
natural environment kind of the Universal Studio backlot.
Yeah, like it wasn't like he was in a restaurant and we're bothering him when he's trying to eat with his family or something. No, he knows where he is. He's on the Universal backlot. He knows these tours go past. Like he sat right out in the open on his phone doing some sort of work there, I guess.
Probably watching YouTube videos. I don't know.
Yeah, he's probably watching Clayton.
Probably.
So what's this guy saying about Site B again? Oh my god.
Site B. Well, what's this guy talking about? Site C or what the heck is that from?
Krask says Steven Spielberg in his paddock. Yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. It was really funny.
Here we can see Steven Spielberg living in his natural environment.
But that's the weird thing is like, yeah, when I was living in London, is like when you walk down the street and another person, I know I'm just name dropping now. I'm like, oh, I met this guy. Like was oh Christ, I can't remember that. Cillian Murphy, who he's in like 28 Days Later. He's in Tron Legacy. But that's what I said.
I've heard that before.
He plays the Scarecrow in Batman Begins. There you go. That's probably
yes.
Yeah, that's probably what he's most known for in like sort of our community. But
yeah.
But yeah, I met him on the street as I was just walking. I had a job at the time when I was looking after people who were lost in London, like tourists and stuff. Like I'd stand on the street, and if they looked lost, I'd be like, "Can I help you?" and all this sort of stuff. And he was walking along, and he just stopped, and he looked a bit lost. So I went over and I talked to him and helped him out. And then I was like, I just said, "Oh, by the way, I just want to say I really enjoyed your role in Tron," and he's like, looked at me like, "Oh yeah, I was in that movie. Oh shit, yeah, sorry." But that was one of those moments where I did approach him, but I was actually doing it for my job rather than going out of my way to really
going to as a enthusiastic thing.
Yeah, and again, it's like, yeah, for people, it's just like you just don't bother them unless you, people who are really famous. Like, just don't bother them unless you actually have to. And by have to, I mean like, you're at a place where you can read the room and they're sat there and they're talking to anyone, or I don't know. There's ways to read it and not bother them.
Yeah, again, and this comes this comes full circle with the thing that we said before: be respectful to people, no matter who they are. Just if they're just trying to enjoy themselves, don't go up to them and say, "You." Let them be. I don't know. I've seen many people do that shit, and it's kind of annoying at some points. I mean, I get that you're a fan of his, you're a fan of hers or something, but just running through a crowd of people and just just making yourself become the one who says, I love your work, sure, but
yeah,
I don't know, you cool.
Hounding them is the different thing. Like, I tell you now, that Prometheus premiere, that scared the living daylights out of me. I've never seen people that deranged by celebrity. Like, I was like, oh my god, I've seen the stereotypes in like comedy shows and stuff about like what people are like, but I've never seen it play out like exactly how you fear it would happen. Like, I was like, oh my god, there was almost literal froth coming out of their mouths because they were seeing these celebrities. I was like, and what was weird is they just have pictures that they want them to sign, and then like there'll be people there with entire folders of pictures, and then
I've seen those kind of
and I've seen like I saw them. Well, because I stood next to a couple of them, I overheard. I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I overheard them say like, "Oh, don't you remember me from the other premiere?" And they have this folder of this one actor that they're there to see, and and they're not. I don't know. They've already got like 12 signatures of this celebrity, so it's like they are literally stalking them. But I guess I was more annoyed. I was like, this is an Alien prequel movie premiere. I was like, this should be Alien fans doing this, not celebrity fans. Like, I'd welcome Alien fans to be stood there frothing at the mouth, going like, "Really, Scott? You made an Alien prequel. Tell us all about it. Oh my god, like oh my god, this is so great." Like, where was that? But no, like I think I might have been the only Alien. Well, I know this is hyperbolic, But I felt like I was the only Alien fan stood there. I was like, where are the Alien fans? Like, this is crazy. You've just got these nutcases looking for, like, stalking celebrities.
That's not my people.
Yeah, I was like, I felt really lost. Like, I felt so embarrassed when I was asking Ridley Scott for his signature, because I knew that he would look into my eyes, he would see the face of a fan, but I would become one of these crazies to him. He has no idea what that signature, like, not necessarily the signature, but like what. I got a handshake, so that was kind of cool. Which is kind of weird because, like, you know, now with COVID, they're not going to shake your hand, but like, but like, I was like, oh, can I just get a handshake? And said like, oh, you know, thank you for entertaining me. That's what I usually say. I don't say like, oh, your work has inspired me and all that sort of stuff, because they've heard it a million times. I just say thank you for entertaining me. Like, cheers for entertaining me as much as you have. But yeah, I felt wrong. I felt really wrong.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Ridley Scott just see through your eyes and say, "Oh, this is one of my fans."
He's like, Jack, come over. I want you to write Prometheus 2. And I'm, oh, thank you. And I climb over. He's like, climb on my jet, Jack. Oh, sorry. Did I say my jet? I meant your jet now. And I'm like, oh, wow, thank you. Thank you for the jet, Ridley Scott.
Then you come home to your wife with the freaking jet.
Where'd you get that? Oh, I went to the Prometheus premiere and Ridley Scott just gave it to me. Oh, and by the way, I'm writing the next film. Because he knew I was a fan. He looked into my eyes. This is the sort of thing I got the sense of from these other people. I was like, these people really believe that they're, you know, they're going to be remembered by these celebrities, but for all the wrong reasons. Not the reasons that they hope. But, you know, people do what they do. I'm not, like, here to completely crap on their lifestyle or whatever, but it didn't seem healthy. Let's put it that way. I was like, this really doesn't feel like it's healthy. But then I was stood there. I was one of them. So I was like, oh god.
just look into the eyes of Ridley Scott and say, I'm not one of them, Ridley. I'm your fans. I'm not this.
Yeah, and then he'll turn around and be like, yeah, they all say that. And I'm like, no. Oh god.
No, I'm not one of you.
I was pleased to see, because I saw H.R. Geiger, that before he passed. That was, you know, one of the cool things about being there. It wasn't all bad, and I did get to sort of shake his hand. I didn't get a signature, I just shook his hand and went like, you know, congratulations. I think that's all I said. I was like, congratulations, and then he moved on to the next person. But I was like, wow, like that's H.R. Geiger. That's the man himself, the crazy nutcase that is H.R. Geiger. You know.
Freaking hell!
But
this.
But you go if you move to like a big city. If you move to like a big city or something, you're going to see celebrities everywhere, because that's where they live. And they just wander about. Aimlessly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people. That's what That's what it is.
You've seen that famous picture of George Lucas eating at bloody Burger King or whatever, like.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit.
Yeah.
And they seem like a down to earth kind of guy. I mean, recently, like a few minutes ago, I watched a video of kind of George Lucas showing Steven Spielberg the droids from Phantom Menace, and they just seem like good friends, you know, talking to each other like, this is our droid for episode 1, and you know.
Who was he showing them to?
George Lucas shows the droids to Steven Spielberg.
Oh, to Spielberg, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really, really heartwarming thing to see. This just shows that it's not really a kind of a corrupted company type of thing. It's just friends showing friends.
Well, that was
their project.
That was before the dark days, before the Empire.
Yeah, before the Empire
of Disney.
Before the Empire rises.
I'll tell you now, speaking of Spielberg and movies and all that, yesterday I watched for the first time Lawrence of Arabia. That's Spielberg's favourite film. And I thought that was a complete masterpiece. That was an insanely good movie. And it's the film in Prometheus that David's watching, and and David, the character, models himself completely on T.E. Lawrence, who's this real historical figure, but who's played in the film by Peter O'Toole. I watched this for the first time, and the film is literally 4 hours long. So it's a very long movie, and it's got this intermission in the middle. So the film pauses for like 10 minutes to play a musical track, where you can get refreshed because it's so long. But when me and my wife were watching this, and we actually really, really enjoyed it. And it was funny because the baby slept through most of it, so it's like that was quite good.
That happens throughout the whole time.
But yeah, I highly recommend it.
Maybe I'm gonna get through it. Maybe. I mean, recently I've watched all the Indiana Jones movie, and yeah, find me impressed.
Yeah, that was one of the things. You watch Indiana Jones, and then you watch Lawrence of Arabia, and you can see exactly where Spielberg was influenced for Indiana Jones.
Oh, what, the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie?
Yeah.
It does show a little bit like the desert thing, right?
But even in the way it's like shot and the way the characters talk to each other and everything, it's like there's a lot of similarities going on. Wait, so had you seen Indiana Jones before then?
No, not really.
Wow.
Clayton actually recommended it to me recently, like a year ago or something.
Wow. So now you're going to probably start to see how how Jurassic World is influenced, because the Jurassic World series is highly influenced by the Indiana Jones series with Owen.
Yeah, I mean, especially after our viewings of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we started to talk with Clayton, and yeah, we discussed a little bit of a little bit of Easter egg with the music choice. Raiders of the Lost is Nublar, and yeah, I kind of got that.
Yeah, even with like things like the truck that Claire drives to get onto the boat, and it's like this adventure like feel. That's the Raiders of the Lost Evils of Nublar. I believe that's the score. It's like, yeah, it's highly influenced by those movies, and I welcome it because I really like the Indiana Jones series. Some people get put off by it because they're like, this isn't Jurassic, but I would argue that, you know, Harrison Ford, who plays Indiana Jones, was originally they were eyeing him up to play Alan Grant, so like, and even Grant has the fedora, so there are a lot of ties between Indy and Jurassic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, you know, Harrison Ford playing Alan Grant, but Samuel is a good choice, I would say.
Oh yeah, he's the better choice. He's the better choice for Alan Grant.
Also, what do you think about the Harrison Ford kills in Star Wars: The Force Awakens? How do you like this shit?
What do you mean?
You know, Harrison Ford being killed in Star Wars: The Force Awakens because, well, it's a rumor that I heard that he wants to be killed.
He's from what I understand, he's wanted Han Solo to be dead since Empire Strikes Back. That's why he gets frozen in carbonite at the end. like he wanted him to die, but they obviously made the next film all about rescuing him or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Force Awakens whatsoever. I hate that movie with passion.
I can see you hating Skywalker more.
No, I say this. I've said this to Clayton. The Star Wars sequels, I hate them all equally, but for different reasons. Like they all, I can't stand those movies. But I like. There's some things they do that I'm like, I like that, but at the same time I'm like, oh, the opportunities you've missed. Like the good example of that is Finn as a defective stormtrooper. I'm like, why did they not really double down on that storyline? Because that suddenly makes the whole Star War more interesting if there's this ambiguity to the stormtroopers. So you're like, okay, we're shooting these guys, but they can be converted to be good. So
I mean, we have that.
They didn't liberate more of them. It's like Finn just turns, and then 5 seconds later he goes, "Whoa!" as he's like shooting more of his friends from 5 minutes ago. It's like, oh god. No.
I mean, they completely missed the point. But I would say that we did have that in Star Wars Battlefront 2, I presume.
Oh well, I'll
but
be honest. My Star Wars knowledge is only limited to the movies
Yeah,
for the most
I can
part.
see
Like,
it
yeah,
in
I'm not the biggest Star
system.
Wars guy, so I don't want to like say that I'm right on everything. But yeah, I'll take your word for it on the Battlefront 2 thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, the story of Star Wars Battlefront 2 kind of focuses on a stormtrooper, like an elite trooper, which first off, she kind of follows the Empire like religiously, but at some point in time, she converts to the rebellion. So yeah, it's
Right.
kind of what you're trying to say, but
More
it
focus on it.
says, yeah, it says like after the battles of Endor, I would say,
Mhm.
after and Rise of the Jedi, yeah, after that and Star Trek. So it doesn't focus really like 20 years later or something like that. It's completely tie into the original one. So
Right. Okay.
yeah, but
So,
I can see people distancing themselves from Star Wars. Like,
did you not
Ah,
like? Did you not like Rise of Skywalker?
not really that much. That's the thing. I like a certain part of the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker, but not the whole thing. Like, for example, for the Last Jedi, I kind of like the soundtrack of it. The freaking soundtrack is really
well,
good. Freaking
John Williams you can't really do any wrong, can he?
Yes, definitely. Freaking soundtrack is definitely top notch, and the CGI, of course. But for this Rise of Skywalker, there are some certain shots that I do really like, but not the whole storyline. That thing is fucked.
I couldn't believe that the Empire didn't know how to go up in spaceships in that movie. That's where I was laughing, and it was funny at the end when they're like trying to get off that bloody planet, and then they're like, we turn this beacon on or whatever so we can navigate our way off this thing, and then the good guys blow up the ground beacon or whatever, so they're like, move the navigation thing to the command ship, and it's like, what do you mean you need navigation? You just need to go up. Up is where you're trying to go. You're trying to get off a planet. It's like, if you're on a planet, look out the window, look where the ground is, and then go the opposite way. Like, it's so easy. And then it's just so convoluted. I just don't like it. And it's a perfect example of how not to do a trilogy.
Yeah, I would say that, and that's a good thing. Kind of, people right now are kind of amused with the prequels a lot more than the sequels. That's really
Yeah,
good.
I'm not really a big fan of those either. But I don't mind. Revenge of the Sith is all right. I like that one.
Yeah, really.
That is also down to some of the memery of it all. Like, I do like the Emperor's memes that will come out of it and all that sort of stuff. I do find that funny. But but episodes 1 and 2, I can't get on board. Can't get on board with those movies. I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely.
It's like Star Wars has now entered this sort of realm for me. It did it with after Force Awakens, because I didn't go see, like, I avoided I can't remember what it's called now. It's the one where Luke dies.
Luke dies. The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that's it. Last Jedi. I didn't see that at the cinema or anything. I just avoided it because I didn't like Force Awakens that much. I was like, I'm not going to see the next one. I was like, they haven't won me over. But what was I going to say? They've sort of entered this realm where I prefer watching video essays online about them now. I find those far more interesting. I did this with Last Jedi, like, watching reviews of people who like the movie and then watching reviews of people who absolutely hated it was far more entertaining than even watching the movie itself. Like, that was where I was getting my entertainment from. And I did the same exact thing with Batman v Superman. I was like, okay, this film is dividing so many people. Like, the people are really arguing over if this film's good or not. And so I was like, I'm really going to just enjoy watching the video essays of these movies, and I still haven't seen Batman v Superman, because that kind of makes it more fun, because I kind of try and piece the film together by the information that people give in their reviews or whatever. And I wanted to do that with The Last Jedi, but in the end my wife actually ended up putting it on one day, and I was like, okay, I'll give this film a watch. And I was like, oh god, I don't like this. And even she liked Force Awakens a lot, but she didn't like The Last Jedi. But like but yeah, with Rise of Skywalker I really wanted to like miss out the film so I could do the same thing, but we ended up going to watch it at the cinema because my family were all going, and they were like, come on, you gotta go. And I was like, oh, okay, alright. And then I ended up just having a great time, but for all the wrong reasons. Like, so I was like, this film's hilarious. The Empire don't know how to go up. They don't know how to go up. Like, oh god.
I mean, that's the thing with The Last Jedi. The whole thing centers on comedy rather than serious things. I mean, what, General Hux getting tucked down by freaking what the fuck was his name again? Andy Serkis playing. Oh fuck, I don't remember. But the thing is, it all devolves on comedy rather than serious.
Which is funny because it's the film that has the most sort of what you would call serious stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
It's like people are dying left, right, and center, and Luke's miserable and all this sort of stuff. It's like you'd think that that film would be the one with the least amount of jokes in it, but it's like, no, it's gonna really do a number on this one, and we're gonna have all sorts. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. And so tell a lie, like there's some things in Star Wars, the prequels, that I do like. I like the Clone Wars cartoons, which are done by the guy who does Primal. So I was like, yeah, same guy. So I'm like, I like that. Yeah. But it's like, I couldn't get on board with it. I was just like, that's not... Star Wars isn't really my jam anyway. I'm more of a Star Trek person, so... And I used to be the other way around. When I was younger, I was more into Star Wars. And I was like, I didn't quite understand Star Trek. But then, like, as I got older, I was like, oh, I get it. I completely get it. Oh my god, like the thing Star Trek has over Star Wars, and I will argue that the new Star Trek stuff that they've released is absolute arse. Like, it's not good because it's turned into Star Wars, basically. Like, the thing I liked about it was, like, there's so many different stories in the Star Trek universe. From all the different episodes, the films, everything. Like, there's so many stories that they tell with that universe. And in Star Wars, it's very limited. Like, Star Wars, you've got this entire galaxy of characters and worlds and God knows what else, but you focus on this one family all the time. Yeah. And I get it for the Luke Skywalker arc. And the prequels did this better than the sequel trilogy. Like, the prequels, you went to different worlds, you saw different stuff, like, it wasn't, yeah, and you were building up to Anakin becoming Darth Vader, but at least the first two films weren't really about that for the most part. They focused on this war that was happening or was bubbling or whatever, so I get that. But then you get to the sequel films, and it's like, when you got to Force Awakens, I was annoyed because I was like, I know this is going to sound really geeky and stupid, but I was like, but the only spaceships they're showing here are X-Wings and TIE Fighters. Where are the Y-Wings? Where are the A-Wings? Where are the other ships? And I was like, I can see what they're doing. It's all for nostalgic reasons. Whereas in Star Trek, like, you can have an episode where they discover this race of dinosaurs who left Earth at the end of the Cretaceous period because the comet was going to hit. They had spaceships because they'd have evolved to that point where they were super intelligent, and they left Earth, and they've gone so far out into space that it only takes this lost ship that's in this Delta Quadrant to find them, and then they start learning about this ancient culture that they're like, wait, this came from Earth, and then they're like, wait, how could it? They're not us, they're not humans, and they're like, hang on a second, they're dinosaurs. And then and it's like, okay, this sounds stupid, but it's far more like imaginative than, you know. And then the next episode will be like the Enterprise is being turned to wood by this weird spatial anomaly, and what are they going to do because all the crew are de-evolving into like newt-like creatures. It's like, okay, I'm on board with this way more than I am Star Wars, because there's just more interesting storylines, and obviously they go into like the ethics and the morals of what's happening, and you know, they deal with politics in not a ham-fisted way. Well, they used to do politics in a non-ham-fisted way, where they would show both sides of the coin. So you'd be like, okay, I don't know where the answer is, and you'd have to watch the characters work out what to do, even though they've presented both sides of the argument, and you're like, okay, I don't know who's right here, or you can make up your own mind, kind of thing. It's like, it was way more interesting than.
So it's kind of like subjective thinking, obviously.
Well, I just boil it down to this: like, Star Wars is like war, because it's in the name. Star Wars is like war. Yeah. It's messy. It's grey. It's hard to decipher what's really going on. Whereas Star Trek is about trekking. It was. Let me just say it was about journeying out, discovering, learning, facing obstacles, and trying to get more knowledge. And that's what it used to be about. And that, for me, that's just far more interesting than war. But they have wars in Star Trek, like they have battles, but like the sort of the build up to them are more well defined than, like, you know, there's this clone army, and who greenlit this clone army? Oh, it's this guy we never see. Okay, and why did he want this again? Well, he wanted it because the Republic wanted an army. Okay, why doesn't the Republic have an army already? Isn't it thousands of years? Like, there's so many questions that arise. And you're like, whereas Star Trek used to not have any of those sort of problems. It used to know exactly what was going on.
It's like right on the back of their hand or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't really watched it, I do highly recommend it. It's, the old series, I started watching it from the middle of Next Generation, so like the one with Picard in it, because that's when I was younger. That's the sort of what was on TV, and that's how I was introduced to it. So when I went back to go watch all of it again when I was a little bit older, I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch Star Trek. I'm going to get into it and see what all the fuss is about. I just did that. I just went to, I think it was season 3 of Next Generation, and just started from there. And then I watched all of Next Gen, all of Deep Space Nine, all of Voyager. Then I went back to the original series, watched the original series, then watched the first 2 seasons of Next Generation. And then now I'm on to Enterprise, which is set after Voyager. Oh, and here's another good thing about Star Trek. Not the newer series, but the older series, it's all canon. And the thing they do is they make sure they do their research. So you watch the original series, you watch Next Gen, you watch Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and even, I'd say, Enterprise to a certain extent. Everything they do works for them. I think if there's any mistakes, I've yet to find them. Like they're yeah, they're all set. They're all in the right time zone. There's episodes where, like, characters in Deep Space Nine, which, if you don't know about it, but Deep Space Nine is about this space station that's not controlled by the Federation, who run all the ships that are exploring space. It's controlled by a group of people, and it's like how these different races try and run this space station. But the point is, there's a time travel episode where they somehow, I can't remember exactly now, but they travel back onto the Enterprise from the original series, and they take an episode from the original series and they insert the characters from the new series, and then they shoot stuff from different angles, and it's so well done that you're like, okay, this is like what Camp Cretaceous could have done. It's like you're showing something we've seen before, but from a completely different angle, and it works. So that's why I prefer it. There's just much more interesting storylines, where, for me personally, Star Wars just seems to be stuck in this endless loop of, like, we need to get the balance. It's like, yes, if there's too many Sith, the balance will be overthrown, and then it's like, are we ever going to get the balance? They're like, I don't know. I thought we got the balance at the end of Return of the Jedi, but apparently not. Apparently, what's his face was still alive. It's like
they're just stuck in the time loop. That's all.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, and it's annoying because the Star Wars universe is so rich in design and so rich in the worlds they created, except for the sequel series where there's like 12 million desert planets, which makes sense scientifically because there is just like lots of them are just rock with bare rock on them, whatever planets. But it's like you want to see more. You want to see more of the galaxy and follow different characters. That's why I think, and I haven't watched it, but I've heard that The Mandalorian is like not anything like overtly special, but it is really good for Star Wars because it's not focusing on the same stuff that they've been focusing on. It follows a new character. It follows.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's like it's finally doing what they should have been doing a long time ago.
Well, that's because they have the Dave Filoni, I would say, that supervised this project, and that is good to him because he is somewhat of a huge Star Wars fan, so it's kind of in a good hands, I would say.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, I know like Disney probably wasn't happy with Rise of Skywalker. So. Wasn't it like not that long ago they said that they want to retcon, or they were looking to retcon the last
Retcon what?
The sequel trilogy. Did I read that somewhere? Like that they were thinking of like, well, we're gonna write a new Star Wars trilogy and it's gonna pretty much undo what you've seen or change it.
Oh, I heard that somewhere.
I thought it might have been just clickbait or something, but I swear I saw something about that.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere in the headline or something. But yeah, I'm not really sure about it. Maybe just retcon a little bit on after the Last Jedi or something.
Their problem was they retconned everything that came after Return of the Jedi when Disney took it over. That was their first issue. What they could have done, and I think a lot of fans would have welcomed it, is make live action versions of that trilogy book that was there. That there was a trilogy of books set after Return of the Jedi that fans, for the most part, from what I heard, liked. I never read them, so I don't really know. But had they taken those books, said they're going to make a prequel, or they're going to make a sequel trilogy about those books, or like following the events of those books, and if they'd have done that and then asked the fan base, what don't you like about these books, so we can address, move away from your issues and fix some things, because we've got an opportunity here to tell a new story. If they'd have done that and been open about it, I think Disney would have been in a far better place now with Star Wars than they are currently. That's my prediction. Yeah. You know, that's the one thing I've learned about the Jurassic franchise, and the way Colin handles everything, is that he's very good at engaging with fans and finding out what they want and what they don't want.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when, well, not really, but especially one of my friends and the co-developers of Jurassic Explorer point out, oh, the Margaritaville Tower is still intact right after when the Dino-Defenders was trashed down it or something.
Yeah,
and then
do you know what gets me about that though?
What?
Is that's fine, like that's great, they got that fixed, right? I'm not complaining about that. But why did no one notice that the wrong map is in one of the trailers? And had they made a fuss about that wrong map, that might have been changed. It's in the Super Bowl trailer, and it's like I picked up on it, and obviously I was flagging it behind the scenes, but it's very hard to get through to some people. It's like, but if the fan base starts doing it on social media, it's like they tend they know about it because a million people send it to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all about the I would say the general audience. You know, when you see it in the in the behind the scenes, people don't really notice it, but when you start to share this to people, and it gets a lot of kind of recipients talking about it, and then it becomes a kind of a viral thing. So they had to change it.
Yeah, they had to. They were forced to. They didn't want to. Yeah. They wanted it to be wrong.
Come on. But I really don't. I really don't think that Colin is a bad guy and all that stuff like other people.
No. He loves to get this right. That's the one thing.
Yeah, I really see him as a huge fan of Jurassic Park. Like, I don't know, when you get the chance to do this kind of a franchise, the franchise that you kind of grown up with, that you loved, you really want to take care of it, rather than trashing it away. But it's all up to the studios, I would say.
Like, it's also like you're like, not to be too blunt about it, but like your job is on the line with every of these movies. Like if you make if you leave this franchise in tatters, like do you think anyone's gonna really hire you anywhere else? Like if you really do a bad number on it, it's like that poor guy who did that Fantastic Four film a few years ago. Josh Trank or whatever his name was. It's like, I don't think he's working anymore. Like I think he really like.
Yeah, that's the sad part about that.
Yeah, I think what Ryan Johnson had going for him was the fact that he like, caused a load of controversy, and that the controversy, I think, around The Last Jedi actually caused a lot of good for Disney, that they kind of embraced it. They were like, yeah, keep going. This is like getting us loads of clicks, and we're getting loads of advertising revenue off other websites and God knows what else. Like, so I wouldn't be surprised by that. Big Shark, you are an absolute godsend. $50 tip. My goodness. What did I do to deserve that? He said, for your infant tear. Well, that is brilliant. Okay, what do you get? That's the thing. I need to look at this. I've forgotten what I put as the tier. So, let's have a look.
Big Shark, $9,000. $50 tip.
You get a personalized digital painting of a dinosaur created by myself, chosen by yourself at this size. Okay. And you get the thank you, the credits. So, okay, you're going to have to send me what dinosaur you want me to paint a picture of, Big Shark, and I will get that to you as soon as possible. That is most generous of you. Thank you very much.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. So many people kind people. Oh.
Yeah, we definitely. People that like this show, so of course they're gonna be.
Oh man, honestly, I can't wait for people to see episode 4. Like, there's so much stuff going on in this episode that it's like gonna be I don't know. There's so many so much more dinosaur action compared to the others, and the reveals in this I hope people like. But it's what I'm looking forward to the most with Dino-Defenders is this is going to sound weird, but when it's all over, putting it all together to make that one movie, to be like, you can watch the whole thing now as one long experience.
So it kind of goes on full circle or something.
Yeah, I'm going to stick all the chapters together. They're all going to be like this one thing. And it'll be on the channel as like Dino-Defenders Extreme full movie. Like,
I can see that happening on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I can't wait to do, because it's going to be like, fun for people to see it completed.
Yeah. Also, for the first episode, I kind of watched it. That first episode, kind of narrating myself. So, voice acting,
yeah. The voice acting part of it is like something that I would love to hear people do it. It would be fun, like to hear people record like their voices and see what it sounds like. But I don't know if anyone's gonna ever do that. But we'll see. Maybe I'd work with someone to do it. To be like, oh, let's have some fun. But
it's like this guy right now in, what is it, chapter 3? What was it? His name is Bill.
Look
Yeah.
out! Get over here with that gun of yours! And, ah!
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, definitely the kind of silent thing is kind of fitting. You know, it. What I'm gonna say is that it reminds me of a Game Boy game. So
Yeah, that's
okay.
a lot of people have said it reminds them of like video game cutscenes, and that's the idea behind those text boxes. So I'm glad people are liking that.
Yeah, the only thing that I remembered that has that kind of thing is what's that Game Boy game? Jurassic Park 3D Island Attack.
I was like, of course, it's the Jurassic Park game. Like in my head.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you play, I don't know. But that's the thing. It's kind of the same template with the boxing, and then just Alan Grant talking about.
Yeah, I was figuring early on, should I add the sound? Should I have the little kind of noise when people are talking in this? But then I realised, I was like, hang on, that's going to be really annoying. If you want to just listen to the score, you're going to hear this.
And a lot of
yeah, to get it right. So I was like, I can't be bothered to do that. I think I might say that this frame, I'm just trying to organise where these reads go. I think that might be done.
Look at that tree bark.
Or you want to have a proper look at the tree bark. Big Shark, send it to my email address. Wait, is Big Shark, are you a part of the Discord group?
Hold on a sec. Big Shark. Wrong Discord. See. No, that was Black Hat.
No, I don't think he is. I'll write it in the chat. No, I won't. That's stupid. I'll message you on Patreon, dude.
By the way, who's Black Hat 154? Is that somebody I
That's Matthew Brando.
Oh, Matthew Brando. The guy, freaking hell. I love his reviews. With Discord.
Yeah, I've done a few videos with him on my channel. We talk about Alien a lot.
Ah, I can see that.
Where is...
Where do I send it to you? Discord. Wait, the Discord group?
Yeah, Freaky Boy John Dog. Go on... if you go on the Chaos Theorem Twitter account, I posted a link to it. It's open.
Yeah, join the Jurassic Circle.
Big Shark, I'm now messaging you on Patreon.
So I guess that's the end, huh? Hold on a sec. Frick. Out of work.
I don't know why I can't seem to find... You know what? I'll just find it on here. Oh, I need to just... Yes, that was me.
Oh, poor Phantom Limb. Join the stream. Oh, it's been really well, Phantom. We had a lot of discussion. Yeah, it's been fun.
So I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, sure. Just gonna answer these things. Oh, freaking Discord.
Just sending Big Shark a message.
John Duffy.
Okay, you should have a message on Patreon, Big Shark. Thank you very much. Yo, Phantom Limb says just joined the stream. Hope it's been well. Yeah, we've painted. We've gone from This, I always like doing this towards the end of the streams. We have gone from this to this. Let's go fill screen. This to this. I mean, that's not bad, is it?
Just, yeah, I could never paint something like that. See.
That's why I like doing these streams, because it's like it gives me a time limit to do them in. And now I've got this background done. Oh god, I can't wait to reveal what's in this shot. There is something in this shot, but obviously this isn't finished because I've got to add it in. There is a dinosaur in this shot that I haven't revealed yet. So
Let's see. I can make a speculation. It's gonna be some type of a semi-aquatic dinosaur.
you might be onto something there, but
What would it be?
maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Spinosaurid, Apelosaurid. I don't know. It's all up to you.
Duplicate the water. So now I'm just gonna do the water and then probably end the stream there because that's a pretty good place to end it on. Yeah, thanks for. I won't end it straight away, but yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on, Zul.
Yeah, no problem. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, like that's why I opened up the Discord group, because I figured, you know, I'm always sitting here chatting to myself, and we've got the chat going and people are around. It's like it's much easier to talk in person. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think on Discord. Oh no, what have I done? Sorry. I think on Discord you can set a chat group, like a microphone chat, to have a limit of people. So I might make a new one in the Jurassic fans group called, like, I don't know, Jack Live or something, and then
Or Jurassic Circle.
yeah, and then have like maybe 2 places in it, because you don't want to because anyone can actually come into this chat right now. And chat to us, which is fine, but like you could have too many and then everyone's talking over each other and it just becomes a mess. So I might make a new one called live chat, and then, like, you know, I invite someone on and then like 1 or 2 people and we can have a chat, whoever's around.
Yeah,
So,
maybe on the next Tuesday or something. I'll be
yeah.
online.
Oh, got a siren going past me this side. Let's let it
Oh,
pass.
no.
Titanus Up says, since Dominion is being pushed back, when do you plan to release episode 4? I'm gonna release episode 4 as soon as it's done. Like, it's exactly like all the other episodes. It's like as soon as I've got episode 4 finished, like it's in the bag, I'll put it on my YouTube and then I'll have the scheduled date there. So I can't.
It's not really connected to Jurassic Park, so.
Yeah, and as it, well, I mean, it would be affected by my work on Dominion, because if I'm working on Dominion, I'm putting less time into Dino-Defenders. But at the same time, I think I could do both. If I'm working, let me put it this way: if I'm working on Dominion, I'm definitely going to be working from home in that time period. So I will be working on Dino-Defenders a lot more, because at the moment I go to work. I have 2 jobs I go to most of the week, so like I'm not at home working on this. That's why I've got this set time now. Gary Pipe says, "Give us a trailer, Jack." It's like I actually have edited a new trailer for episodes 1, 2, and 3 to promote those, and there's a couple of shots of episode 4 in there. There's like a tease, and it also includes what you did, Saul. But I've yet to finish editing that, so that will be out soon. But yeah, the episodes will just literally come out when they're done, and then episode 5 I'll be working on. But episode 5 is the last episode, and once that's done, it's done, and then I do the big movie version. But I would say if things go the way they're going, episode 5 might be out before Dominion. So we might be done before Dominion's out. It just all depends on how much time I get to spend at home working on it, and obviously looking after my child and family. So,
how's working with Dominion as well?
What's that? Sorry.
How's the work with Dominion by this time?
I don't know. We've been on pause for a long while, and obviously I can't go into it, but I can say that we've been told, things will be kicking off soon.
That's a good thing.
And I can't talk about any specifics here, but no, I can't talk about any specifics here. But we were messaged about something that was very exciting, and I'm like, if that works out, I'm gonna be a very happy person. But
okay, this is definitely rising my hypes up further more than usual. So
so I'm like, okay, but Hollywood is Hollywood, so like until I'm watching the final film, that's I'm not gonna like think one thing and then or like believe one thing's gonna happen and then be disappointed. I'm just gonna accept whatever the film is that they decide to make and then go from there. But if they do what they've said they're gonna do, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. But
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm for the past few years I've been trying to watch these movies without seeing any leaks. But what do you know?
Well, I don't know. The fandom. Let me say this about leaks, and I'm not confirming or denying anything, but I just want to say about leaks is the fandom is its own problem. it's like
somewhat like that.
There are the few fans who are out there who want the original experience, what we all had in the 90s, where like you go see The Lost World and you barely know anything about it because like you haven't seen anything, and so the experience is as
new
it's as pure as it can be, where like you're going on the adventures with the characters as much as possible. And that doesn't mean you're going to like the film, but it means you're going to go on the experience, these characters. That's pretty much gone, because there'll always be those people in the fandom, and you can tell who they are because they're usually the ones who scream about knowing too much before the film. Ironically enough, they're like, the trailers show too much. Hey, look at this picture that I saw from this blurry set photo from a million miles away, but look what it reveals. Like, you'll always get those people. It's like there's always those, and then there's more people who don't care about spoilers than do, so they're just going to pass it round, and you either have to completely avoid social media like the plague, just get off social media, or I don't know, I don't even know how you would avoid it. It's like it's happened since I remember when the Joe Blow article came out about Jurassic World in 2014 that talked about the plot, and it talked about the T-Rex is tamed and the raptors are tamed and all this sort of stuff, and the fandom went ballistic, and even I did, because I wasn't working on it at that time. I was like, oh my god. And the thing I was upset about most was the open park idea. I was like, what the hell? I was like, they're going to open a park? I was like, that goes against the message of the first film and all this sort of stuff. I even made a blog about it, which is really cringy to watch, which I might do a video about in the future where I rewatch it and then discuss my thoughts. But the idea was like, when they offered us the Masrani Global website, just to give you some context, I was like, actually, I can sell myself the idea of how they got this park off the ground, because we're going to be writing about how this company did it. So I'm like, okay, I don't like this idea, but how could I sell it to myself? And then I won myself over. So then when I watched Jurassic World, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it now. I know the backstory because I wrote it with Tim. So, but anyway, the point is, but when you like read a leak, like the Joe Blow article that came out about the park being open and tamed T-Rexes and that, which was not true in the film. Like Claire just lures it out with a flare. That's not tame. But the point is what that does is it creates a narrative of what the film's going to be like in your head. And even if you know you're speculating, people still fall for it. And then they build up what this film's going to be. And especially if a film's been delayed, it's like, oh my, like Jurassic World was for a year. Like they delayed that for a year from 2014 to 2015 because it was originally going to come out in 2014. It's like, and a similar sort of situation is happening now. When leaks happen and when like with Jurassic World, like story beats come out and stuff like that, it puts a sort of narrative in people's heads and they settle on that as like that's what the film's going to be like, and it's very hard for them to shake that off when they're watching the final film. Whereas if they didn't know that, they would have a completely different experience. They would just have a completely different experience. And again, it doesn't mean they like the film any less or hate the film any more or anything. It just guarantees that when they go into the cinema to watch these films, the experience of seeing it for the first time would be different, and it would be closer to how myself and others experienced films like The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 back in the day, because we had no idea what to expect aside from a few trailers, back in those days. That's why those films really hit us as children, because we saw these films and we were like, whoa, I didn't know the T-Rex was going to go to San Diego, or whoa, oh my god, like the whole thing was new. You didn't have trailers to spoil it for you and that. So that's my thoughts on leaks. It's like they're so damaging. They're really, really damaging.
Yeah, definitely.
So just avoid them if you can. Anyone who posts anything about a spoiler, just ignore them. Cast them into the flames.
Just throw your phone into the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about spoilers, watching the movie with like pure experience, I could still remember the first time I watched Jurassic World, and at that time I did not play with any phones or anything. Like the internet is something that is new to me, and the only thing that I saw for Jurassic World is a couple of leaks of the buildings and the trailers, and that's all.
Yeah.
There's no dinosaurs or anything like that.
So you weren't around for the whole 2014 Joe Blow plot.
Oh,
leak.
no.
Like it wasn't exactly accurate, but it was like close enough, vaguely. And they, like I said, they clickbaited the heck out of the thing. So they were like, oh, the film contains tamed T-Rexes and tamed Velociraptors. And then you watch the film and it's like completely... Yeah, exactly. So you weren't around for that. You were lucky.
Yeah, just a little bit. Only that Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. Like, you get two versions. You get the leaks that the fans put out there. Because I had this whole... back and forth on the Jurassic... Back in the day with Jurassic Park Legacy, I got into a bit of a spat with some of the people on those forums back in the day, because they leaked out the Indominus Rex on a paper plate, like a children's party plate.
Oh, yes.
Like, they leaked it out, so the design of the Indominus was out there, and the fans were seeing it for the first time in full on a kid's paper plate. And the thing that I was saying back then was, I was saying to them, because they knew I was working on it as well at the time, so that created a bit of a, people thought I was being a bit biased. But what I was actually saying was, they said, if I remember correctly, and I try not to get their argument right, they said that, someone DM'd me this, and we wanted to show the fans. And I said, well, if someone DMs you that, you have an opportunity not to post it publicly. Because that person who DM'd it to you hasn't posted it publicly, as far as I'm aware.
They just want to get the clicks.
Yeah, well, they wanted to get it out there, so they sent it to you in a DM, but you were the one who decided to make it public. So why did you not just think, actually, I'm gonna keep it to myself? Yeah, I'm gonna keep it to myself. But no, they can't. Like the fact they have to get it out there. And the annoying thing was that it was only like a month or so later that the global trailer for Jurassic World came out, and in that trailer was the shot where the helicopter falls down and blows up, and you see the Indominus for the first time in full. And that was going to be, knowing behind the scenes, that was Universal's going to be their big reveal of what the Indominus would look like, was in the global trailer. Well, now I would, if I was in charge, I'd be like, save it to the film. Don't show it whatsoever until the final film. But but the paper, they knew the paper plates and stuff were going out on shelves and stuff soon. So they wanted to nip that in the bud, but have this cool reveal of the helicopter falling in the trailer. You see it explode, and oh my god, there it is in full, like roaring towards the camera. So it was annoying that it came out on a paper plate, and that's how fans first saw it. So it's like the experience, the fandom, I'm afraid to say, a lot of the people in the fandom are their own worst enemy. And a lot of them don't even know it. They don't even know that they're their own worst enemy. And I hate to say it, but it's true. And Yeah, and that's just the way it goes. So now I'm like, because I get DM stuff all the time about like, oh, have you seen this leak? Have you seen it? I just ignore everything. I'm like, no, because people know what I work on. It's like if I address this in any way, even if I say no or something, it's like acknowledging it is part of the problem. I'm just like, I don't.
Yes, this is the. It also happens to to Clayton. I saw this kind of post like just when I woke up, the leaks of the new dinosaur for Dominion, which is the head sculpture.
Yeah.
And this is guy tagging Clayton, and I said, Clayton, don't go to this guy's tag. It's gonna spoil the whole movie for you. And he's like, I already saw it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that's what's difficult for people like Clayton, because Clayton's so well known.
Yeah.
That he's got such a big following that people are going to send him stuff. I said to Clayton the other day on a message, we were DMing, and I just said, like, unfortunately for you, this kind of thing is unavoidable. Like, you're going to get it. Like, I get it. I get people sending me stuff all the time. And I'm like, I know more than, like, I know stuff. But it's like, but at the same time, it's like they people want to spread this stuff, and it's really annoying because you get like two brunts of it. You get the fandom who do it to themselves, and then you get the bloody trailers, especially for Fallen Kingdom, that really ruined a lot of that movie. And there needs to be a middle balance between the two. There needs to be the fans who get sent stuff on DM from stupid idiot people who are leaking stuff from the inside, who think they're being really cool by telling their friends about this thing they know. And it's like, and that leaking out. There needs to be less of that, and there also needs to be less revealing stuff in the trailers. And once we get to that, everything will be good. Like, you'll be able to have that the purest experience you can with a movie.
I really do just hope that if people are watching this video, I'm gonna say that to all of you who has the leaks or anything, just keep it to yourself. Don't spread it around. We know that people want to know about these movies, but just keep it to yourself.
It's also a lot of people don't realize that, like, something that might not be a spoiler at first glance, like someone might be like, oh, look at this set photo of X or whatever it is, and they're like, see, it doesn't spoil anything because it just shows a location, and it shows, I don't know, like a vehicle or something like that, and there's like this person, you can see one of the actors is there, right? There's no story spoiler in that. That's okay to share. And then when you watch the trailer, there might be 2 or 3 shots in that trailer that without those set photos you wouldn't know what's going on, but as soon as you know that the character's going to be at this certain location with this certain vehicle, you're like, oh, I know how they get there because of these 2 shots in the trailer. So then so that set photo inadvertently has become a spoiler. And it's like, I don't think many people think about that. They just think about the dopamine hits they're going to get in their brain because they get so many likes on the post, and they're like, oh, this feels great. It's like, yeah, and then they'll sit there and go, but the trailers show too much. It's like, yes, they do, and you also show too much. Like, you are the trailers as well. Like, you don't realize it, but you are the trailers. But anyway, man, I'm gonna have to like end the stream here. But
I'm also gonna watch it too. So.
Yeah, I do 3 hour stints now, so it's like 12 till 3. So
yeah, so it's been fun, man. It's been fun too.
Yes,
to talk with you, discuss this with your viewers, and also shout out to Neil Finnar. Hey.
Yeah, dude. And he says, I'm going to work hard not to watch any of the trailers because I really want to go in not knowing much. I see. This is the thing. If I wasn't working on Jurassic, you probably only see me on these streams or on my YouTube channel. I would barely be talking about Jurassic, really, outside of stuff that's already out there. Like, that's why I do those misconception videos. One, I can't talk about what I know, but also, like, I like covering stuff that I don't hear too many people talk about. That's why I talk about, like, is the ending of The Lost World a dream and that sort of stuff, because there's evidence for it and all this sort of stuff. But like, when it comes to, like, my second favorite franchise is the Alien franchise, and I watched the teasers for those films that were coming out, and that's it. Like, I didn't follow any of the viral marketing. I didn't follow anything. But what I do is, after the fact, is then I go and dive into it after I've seen the film, because I'm like, now I want to know how this film was marketed and how it was built up, because you know. But I watched like the first years it's because I tell myself I know I'm gonna go see this because I'm an Alien fan. Like I know I'm there already. They don't need to sell it to me. Like I don't need to see these shots. I just need to see the film when it's out. But so many people, you know, it's exciting and I get it, and it's hype building, and you can't hold back, and I get it, and I do that with other stuff like some other movies I'm excited about. I mean, I remember watching all the trailers for Tron Legacy and all that when that was coming out. But like Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think I watched the first whatever teaser they released, and then I watched nothing until I was in the cinema. Like I just avoided it like the plague. Yeah, but like, yeah, it's just that's it. It's hard to do if you're on Twitter, especially. I'd say if you just got off Twitter, you'd pretty much be fine. Like Twitter and Facebook, they're the two social media I always hear people spoiling stuff, because a YouTube video might have something in a thumbnail, but without actually watching the video, you don't know the context, so you can kind of avoid stuff. But
yeah, I just scour around Instagram. That's all.
Yeah. Oh, Instagram can be a death trap as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very difficult to avoid. But it can be done. But it's annoying because obviously you hear lots of people having these exciting conversations about stuff that you can't join in on. It's like it can feel really like kind of lonely until the film's out. So I get that. Anyway, I've now finished this picture completely, so I'm done. So there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me, man. That was a fun conversation.
Yeah, this one for me too. So hope to see you next week or something.
Yes, definitely. And thank you everyone for joining me, and thank you very much, Big Shark, for that donation. That was very kind of you.
You're the man.
And I will see you guys. I just want to say next Tuesday I'll be doing a stream, but the Tuesday after that I'll actually be off because I'm going to be visiting some family members, so I actually won't be streaming them. But if I can, I might have a video to upload on the day. So hopefully there'll be a video that day in 2 weeks' time. But anyway, I'll see you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I gotta go do some work. So see ya.